सभी का स्वागत है। आज एक बहुत ही सुंदर अवसर है। ये श्री माता जी की कृपा है कि माँ को जो बच्चे बहुत प्यारे थे, माँ को तो वैसे सभी बच्चे प्यारे होते हैं, पर जिनने माँ के साथ शुरुआत में पूरे देश विदेश में यात्राएं करी, पब्लिक प्रोग्राम किए और माँ के आदेश को बिल्कुल अक्षरशः पालन किया, ऐसे ही एक व्यक्ति को आज हमने हमारे इस नए साधकों के और पुराने लोगों के 5:30 के मेडिटेशन के प्रोग्राम में आमंत्रित किया है। उनका नाम है एलेक्स हेशा। थोड़ा सा नाम हमको भी अटपटा लगता है बोलने में। बहुत ही खुशी की बात है, वो अपने अनुभव हमारे साथ शेयर करेंगे और श्री माता जी के साथ साथ उन्होंने क्या आनंद पाया वो बताएंगे और मेडिटेशन करेंगे हम उनके साथ। प्रोग्राम ये इंग्लिश में रहेगा और उसका बीच बीच में हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन भी किया जाएगा। पर आपको मुझे एक बात शेयर करनी है सभी के साथ। रशिया के और देशों के, फ्रांस के जब लोग आते थे शिव माता जी के साथ फॉरेन से इंडिया, माँ चैतन्य फैलाने के लिए जब भी इंडिया आती थी, इन सब लोगों को फॉरेन से अपने साथ लेके आती थी। शिव माता जी की 3 ही लैंग्वेज थी, इंग्लिश, हिंदी या मराठी। उनमें से काफी सारे लोग ऐसे रहते थे जिनको ये तीनों लैंग्वेज नहीं आती थी, पर वो जो चैतन्य बरसता था उसका इतना आनंद लेते थे। मराठी भजनों का, हिंदी भजनों का, माँ के प्रवचनों का, और माँ से कहते थे माँ बहुत आनंद आ रहा है, बहुत आनंद आ रहा है, और उस आनंद में डूबते थे। तो आज हमारा भी ये मौका है कि हमने ऐसे व्यक्ति को बुलाया है कि प्रोग्राम तो इंग्लिश में होगा, पर आज आपको ये अनुभव करना है कि चैतन्य का लेवल कैसा है, चैतन्य की स्थिति क्या है, आपको कितना आनंद आ रहा है, हाथों से कितनी ठंडक बह रही है। और जब ठंडक बहती है तो उस आनंद का वर्णन नहीं किया जाता है शब्दों में, वो अंदर की अनुभूति होती है और उसमें सिर्फ आनंद ही आनंद की बात की जाती है। तो आप सबसे प्रार्थना है आखिरी तक प्रोग्राम में रुकें और पूरे प्रोग्राम का आनंद लें। किस बात का? चैतन्य का। उनके अनुभवों को तो सुने ही सही, पर चैतन्य का आनंद लें। ऐसे लोग हमारे बीच बहुत सारे नहीं हैं जो श्री माता जी के साथ रहे हुए हैं। ये बहुत ही सुंदर मौका है और ये लॉकडाउन में श्री माता जी की विशेष कृपा बरस रही है। हम ये 5:30 का ये जो प्रोग्राम चला रहे हैं, ये प्रोग्राम हम एक आत्म साक्षात्कार का रियलाइजेशन का 4:15 लेते हैं और एक 7:45 लेते हैं। यूट्यूब की भी हमारी यही यूट्यूब का आप सहयोग ऑनलाइन मेडिटेशन सब्सक्राइब करें या फिर जूम की ये लिंक पे ही ये प्रोग्राम चलता है। दोनों जगह साथ साथ पैरेलल चलता है और उसमें काफी सारे लोग सहयोग में गहनता में उतर गए। ये श्री माता जी की कृपा रही है। तो उन्हीं लोगों को हमने सोचा कि अब इस लॉकडाउन में और गहरे कैसे उतारेंगे, तो 5:30 हमने उन लोगों के लिए मेडिटेशन का कार्यक्रम रखा। और जो हमें लगा अरे ये लोग इतना आनंद ले रहे हैं, इनको इतना फायदा होता जा रहा है, तो क्यों नहीं हम कुछ लोगों को इनवाइट करें उनके अनुभव सुनाने के लिए। और बस यह कारवां ऐसे ही चलता गया है श्री माता जी की कृपा से। आज हमारे बीच हमने ये एलेक्स को बुलाया है। मैं उनका हृदय से स्वागत करती हूँ। जय श्री माता जी।
Jai Shri Mataji. So thank you very much for inviting me to speak with everyone today. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to, share my experiences that I had with Shri Mataji over many, many years.
Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji, Alex uncle. Animesh, you'll start with the introduction, please.
Yeah, just a sec. So this is a bit new for us as well, uncle. I'll speak in Hindi and English both right now. So for the benefit of people who have actually joined us from other countries as well, I'll start in English and then in Hindi. So in terms of an introduction for uncle, we have a lot of information uncle had sent, where all he had gone with Shri Mataji and worked Sahaja Yoga out. But the main thing that we really bring out from it is that since 1983 he's in Sahaja Yoga. He has worked out a lot of programs with Shri Mataji. He actually right now is in Hong Kong and has worked out towards establishing Sahaja Yoga in China as well. He's originally from Australia. So it will be a very different session for us. Also, because he's not an Indian. Until now, we have had Indians coming and speaking to us. So it will be something very, very different for us. What we'll try and do in this program is that after each answer that you give us, I'll try and summarize it in Hindi across in short. Maybe I won't be able to translate it as is, Uncle. So sorry for that already. Sorry to Shri Mataji for all mistakes that happen. But we'll try how our best we can. So now in Hindi. सभी को जय श्री माता जी। आज हमारे साथ एलेक्स हेंशॉ अंकल जुड़े हैं, जैसा कि अभी आपको मम्मी ने बताया। अंकल सहयोग में 1983 से हैं। जब दुष्यंत भैया उनसे बात कर रहे थे, उन्होंने पूछा आप कब से सहयोग में, तो उन्होंने बोला 1983। तो भैया ने कहा कि तब मैं उस साल पैदा हुआ था। सो इतने टाइम से सहज में अंकल हैं। श्री माता जी के साथ कई प्रोग्राम्स में रहे, देश विदेश कई जगह जाकर उन्होंने सहयोग का कार्य किया है। और साथ ही साथ एक नया कार्य उन्होंने श्री माता जी ने दिया था कि वो हांगकांग में स्थापित हुए और चाइना में सहयोग को स्थापित करने का प्रयास किया, जो अपने आप में एक बहुत कठिन कार्य माने उन्हें दिया था। तो आज हमारे पास सौभाग्य है, हम अंकल को सुनेंगे। हालांकि एक परिस्थिति ऐसी है कि कई लोग हमारे बीच ऐसे होंगे जो अंकल की भाषा को नहीं समझ पाएंगे, थोड़ा एक्सेंट भी होगा अंकल का। तो मेरा प्रयास रहेगा कि हर प्रश्न के उत्तर होने के बाद पूरा मैं एक संक्षिप्त में आपको बताने की कोशिश करूंगा कि अंकल क्या बता रहे हैं, और आशा करते हैं कि इसको सक्सेसफुली कर पाएंगे। तो तहे दिल से स्वागत करते हैं दुष्यंत भैया का और एलेक्स अंकल का, और कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत करते हैं। वार्म वेलकम टू यू अंकल इन आवर स्मॉल प्रोग्राम and requesting Dushyant Bhaiya to please start the Q&A session. Jai Shri Mata Ji.
Jai Shri Mata Ji, Uncle. Dushyant, yeah? By Mother's blessing, we'll start the meditation session, Uncle.
Okay. So if we can just bring our hand onto the top of the head and just focus there. Close your eyes and just ask Shri Mataji to raise your Kundalini, to bring you to her lotus feet, so that you feel that connection with Shri Mataji at your Sarasrara. And then lift your hand above your top of your head. Just feel the flow of vibrations coming onto the hand. And just lock your attention where your hand is above your head. Just slowly bring your hand back onto the lap again with both palms upward in meditation. We can invite the Kundalini to rise from the base of the spine. We can just lift the Kundalini with the right hand all the way from the base of the spine to the top of the head slowly. And as we do that, we can take a deep breath in. Bring the focus to the top of the head again. And then again, bring the hand back to the base of the body, lifting the Kundalini up, inviting it to rise up, breathing in deeply. Touch the top of the head. And breathing out slowly. Lifting the energy again from the base, breathing in. Keep doing this a few times, breathing in deeply. Bring our focus back to the Sahasrara. Breathe out and then lift the energy again all the way to the top of the head. And then place the hand on top of the head again. And again ask Shri Mataji to come in your attention. Shri Mataji, please come into my attention. Lifting the hand up above the head. Focus on the cool breeze you're feeling. Slowly bring the hand down again and relax. Just take the right hand onto the left heart. And we just say with full confidence, Shri Mataji, by your grace, I am nothing but the pure spirit. Shri Mataji, by your grace, I am nothing but the pure spirit. Shri Mataji, by your grace, I am nothing but the pure spirit. Bring the hand to the forehead. And at this point, we just say, I forgive everyone, including myself. I forgive all my thoughts. I am not these thoughts. Shri Mataji, please come into my head. Shri Mataji, please come into my head. Shri Mataji, please come into my head. Just bring the hand back onto the Sarasrara, pressing down and massaging the scalp, moving slowly in a clockwise direction. And we can ask Shri Mataji to please help establish my realization. Please help me to establish in Sahaja Yoga so that I may be a true instrument of your divine work on this earth. Shri Mataji, please let me have humility and the dignity of a divine personality. Please awaken those qualities, the pure qualities of divinity, so that I may shine and bring light to this earth. And through your grace, Shri Mataji, let me bring the love that you have given and showered upon us. Let me be an example of that love, that compassion, to all the people I meet. Slowly lift the hand above the head again. Again, we can pray to Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji, please let me always be in your attention. Shri Mataji, please let me worship your lotus feet in my heart. Slowly bring the hand onto the lap again. We can just slowly, using both hands, we can raise the Kundalini slowly, with full attention. And put into Bandhan. We can just slowly open our eyes. So we try to always be in a state of meditation. We meditate together, and during the day we try to bring our attention to the top of the head. And that'll always make us feel very balanced or peaceful. And it's something that I do every day, meditate twice a day, but I also do it during the day, raising the attention, raising the Kundalini, bringing the focus back and bringing yourself back into balance. So these are things that may seem simple, but they're very easy to do on a daily basis. And during the day when we're working, if we're feeling a little bit stressed, we can just raise the energy, raise the Kundalini, bring ourselves back into balance, which is the best way. So I began my spiritual journey.
Shri Mataji, Uncle.
Yeah.
We'll start with the Q&A session, Uncle.
Yeah.
So, Uncle, the first question which I wanted to, firstly, I would like to thank Shri Mataji for the divine meditation session. Thank you so much, Uncle. It's very nice. I can still feel the vibrations on my Sahasrara. I wanted to start with a question, Uncle. Where exactly did you get your self-realization and what was your experience of the same?
So I got my realization in 1983 in Sydney. And Shri Mataji had come to Australia on a tour, and she was traveling, visiting a number of cities, and it was in the 1983 tour, and she'd come in March, and my family, my mother had been listening to a radio station, and she heard Shri Mataji speaking on the radio, and she felt there's some incredible wisdom there from this, from Shri Mataji. She heard her on this radio interview. And then at the end of the interview, Shri Mataji talked about this all-pervading power of God's love. And she said, anybody who has a desire can connect to this. Just put your hands out towards the radio and you can feel the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. And she blew into the microphone of the radio station, and my mother could feel like someone's blowing on her hand. So she got very excited, and she told my father, and she told us all, there's this Indian guru that's in town. We should all go and see her because she sounds amazing. I have this experience. I felt this coolness on the hands, but she said she's so incredibly wise, and she wanted us all to go. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend that lecture Shri Mataji gave in Sydney because I was busy with my sort of mid-year, or sort of, actually it was mid-semester final studies and assignments due. So I was quite busy at university. I was finishing off a 4-year degree course. So I missed that opportunity. And then when I was ready to go, Shri Mataji had gone down to Melbourne, and then she was flying back to India. So unfortunately, I missed seeing her that trip. But I went along to the ashram, and I had the realization experience, which was profound for me, because I could feel something, the Kundalini came up so strongly that it actually took my attention somewhere up, way above my Sarasrara, and I just lost all consciousness of my body. I was just in this blissful state, and it was such a profound state. I couldn't speak. It took me probably an hour or so to come down from that state, and then I felt, when I did finally come back into my consciousness, I felt that this was the answer to everything, that this was this divine power that I could feel everywhere, and my heart was just bursting with joy. And this was the very first experience. The second program I attended, which was a few days later, because they had about 3 programs a week in the ashram. It was in the ashram in Sydney and Burwood. And the second time, I had this incredible sense that Shri Mataji was, a divine personality. I just had this innate feeling that I'd been with her before, I'd known her before, and this was like, something very strong that I felt. And that was, compelling me to sort of wanting to know more and learn more. And I had this feeling that she was the feminine power of God. I didn't quite understand the Hindu goddess and the Adi Shakti and all these terms. I hadn't come into contact. I coming from a Christian background. But I did have this feeling that she was Mary. She was the Mother Mary, that Christ's mother, Holy Mother. So I had this feeling in the second program that I went to. And I had this strong desire in my heart that I just want to serve her. I just want to be close to her and serve her. that was a very strong feeling that I had then. That was my first experience of self-realization. So it was very, very strong for me.
Jai Shri Mataji, uncle. I'll try and translate a little bit. So, अंकल बता रहे हैं कि 1983 में 1983 में सिडनी में श्री माता जी आई थी और सहयोग का प्रोग्राम होने वाला था, जिसके पहले कि रेडियो पे श्री माता जी का प्रोग्राम हुआ और माँ ने सहयोग के बारे में बताया। और अंकल की जो माँ थी उस समय वो रेडियो सुन रही थी और उनको ऐसा लगा कि बहुत ही अच्छा श्री माता जी बोल रही हैं, बहुत ही विवेकशील बातें कर रही हैं। और जब माँ ने रेडियो पे ही लोगों को कहा कि अगर आप इसके
अनिमेश आवाज थोड़ी बड़ी करो।
अभी ठीक है माँ?
नहीं, और
अभी ठीक है?
हाँ, थोड़ी बड़ी है, और करो।
अभी?
हाँ, ठीक।
हाँ, तो ऐसा हुआ कि रेडियो पे ही श्री माता जी को एलेक्स अंकल की मम्मी ने सुना और उन्हें लगा कि बहुत ही माँ अच्छा बोल रही हैं और विवेकशील बातें कर रही हैं। और माँ ने कहा रेडियो पे ही कि अगर आप इसका अनुभव लेना चाहें तो अभी रेडियो की तरफ दोनों हाथ करें और आपको अनुभव हो जाएगा। और माँ ने उस समय रेडियो में ही माइक्रोफोन पे फूंका, जैसे माँ कई बार प्रणव फूंकती हैं माइक पे, तो उनकी माँ को, एलेक्स अंकल की माँ को हाथ पे बहुत अच्छा चैतन्य महसूस होने लगा। तो सारे परिवार को लेके गई और उन्होंने कहा कि हमें श्री माता जी का प्रोग्राम ज़रूर अटेंड करना चाहिए। उस समय अंकल नहीं अटेंड कर पाए क्योंकि उनकी पढ़ाई चल रही थी और उस समय वो नहीं जा सके। पर बाद में श्री माता जी मेलबर्न होके और फिर इंडिया वापस चले गई, तो अंकल आश्रम में ही गए और आश्रम में अंकल ने आत्म साक्षात्कार प्राप्त किया। और पहली बार उनको ऐसा अनुभव हुआ कि सहस्त्रार पे बिल्कुल कुंडलिनी आ गई और उसके साथ उनका चित्त भी वहीं था। और अंकल को ऐसा अनुभव हुआ कि उन्हें कुछ बोलने का ही मन नहीं कर रहा था। 1 घंटे तक लगभग उन्हें लगा कि वो वही स्थिति बनी हुई है। और दूसरी बार जब वो कार्यक्रम में गए आश्रम में, प्रोग्राम में 3 दिवसीय प्रोग्राम था, तो उनको ऐसा अनुभव आ गया श्री माता जी के प्रति, ऐसा समर्पण सा आ गया कि जैसे श्री माता जी स्वयं साक्षात मेरी हैं। अंकल कैथोलिक बैकग्राउंड से आ रहे हैं, तो वहाँ पे मैरी जो कि जीसस क्राइस्ट की मदर की माँ थी, अंकल को ऐसा भाव आया कि माँ साक्षात वही हैं और उनको ऐसा भाव आया कि मैं पूरी तरह श्री माता जी को समर्पित हो जाऊं, उनकी ही सेवा में लग जाऊं। तो इस तरह से उनका बहुत ही प्रबल पहला अनुभव सहयोग में रहा।
Jai Shri Mataji, uncle. Thank you so much for relating your first experience in Sahaja Yoga with you. You mentioned a specific thing, uncle, which is essentially my second question, that you were not accustomed to terms like Adi Shakti or Kundalini and all these things. So, uncle, I wanted to ask you, what was your calling to Sahaja Yoga? How exactly were you attracted towards spiritualism or meditation? So that's the first question. And the second question is that how, as a Christian, you were eventually able to reconcile with the Mother as Adi Shakti?
So my seeking started when I was probably in my teens, because I was attending church and some fellowship group. My mother and father were seekers. I mean, they were very open-minded. They weren't practicing Christians, but they felt that it was good for me to learn about Christianity. My father was a scholar. He was an artist. He was teaching art history and design at university. So he was quite a learned man. My mother was also a deep seeker. So they did a lot of the seeking probably for me. And they had a lot of books, a lot of esoteric books. They were quite interested in Krishnamurti and his teachings. They'd followed different philosophies like Carl Jung. So my father was instrumental in starting the Jung Society in Australia. So this was the background. So my seeking started probably around 14, 15. And then around 16, I felt that the church wasn't really, it was too much hypocrisy. I didn't feel it was really close to the heart. It wasn't, it was very mental in terms of what they're doing. So I kind of, and then I was interested in music and I was doing some studies with music. And I heard for the first time a recital, a ragas recital with some Indian musicians that were visiting Australia, and I went with my parents, and I found it incredible, the tabla and the sitar, and it was really an interesting experience that I had, and that sort of opened me up to this idea of Indian music was the first thing, and then later on, obviously after self-realization, it just felt so natural for me, you know. I was listening to Mother's talks, you know, even from the very early stages, Mother's introductory talks. So I just felt everything she was saying was just made so much sense. And I didn't see her as a Hindu, as a Christian or a Muslim. I just saw her as universal, because the way she described everything was tying all the great religions together. She was saying these are just flowers on the same tree of life. And she put it so beautifully and so perfectly that it made a lot of sense to me. And it wasn't very hard for me to accept her as a divine personality. And obviously later, as I progressed in Sahaja Yoga, this idea of Adi Shakti and the Hindu deities came up. I wasn't aware of that before, though my mother had sort of mentioned about devas and deities and talked about, you know, the pantheon of gods a long time back. And I remember her sort of telling me stories about Indra and some others. But we weren't really, I wouldn't really say that I had much of a knowledge about it. But as I learned more in Sahaja Yoga, obviously, it was quite easy for me to accept, because if you accept Shri Mataji as this divine personality, it's very easy for, you know, coming from that perspective, because what she's saying makes so much sense.
जय श्री माता जी। तो अंकल से सवाल पूछा गया कि अंकल एक कैथोलिक बैकग्राउंड से आ रहे हैं और उन्होंने ये सब आदि शक्ति और कुंडलिनी ये सब चीज़ें कभी सुनी नहीं होगी, तो कैसे सहयोग की तरफ उनका रुझान हुआ और कैसे कैथोलिक होते हुए भी वो सहयोग को पा सके। तो अंकल ने बड़ी सरलता से समझाया कि उनके माता पिता कैथोलिक्स थे और उनकी खुद की खोज 14-15 साल की उम्र में चालू हो गई थी, जब उन्हें क्रिश्चियन धर्म की तरफ मोड़ा गया। और काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें तब उन्होंने सीखी, पर उन्हें लगा कि क्रिश्चियन धर्म में काफ़ी जो बातें हैं वो सिर्फ दिमागी हैं और उनका हृदय से कोई संबंध नहीं है, और उन्हें लगता था कि कोई और चीज़ होनी चाहिए जिसे वो ढूँढें। और जब सहयोग में आए तो उन्होंने श्री माता जी को सुना, उन्हें लगा कि सारी बातें बहुत बहुत सुंदर तरीके से श्री माता जी ने समझाई हैं और ज़्यादा उनको सब कुछ विवेकशील लगा। और श्री माता जी ने सभी धर्मों को एक धागे में पिरोया है, ऐसे समझाया है कि सभी एक पेड़ के फूल हैं जिन्हें हम तोड़ के कह रहे हैं कि ये मेरा धर्म, ये मेरा धर्म। तो वो बातें इनको बहुत भा गई। इसके अलावा उनके पिताजी आर्ट हिस्ट्री के टीचर थे, आर्ट में उनकी रुचि थी। अंकल की खुद की म्यूज़िक में काफ़ी रुचि थी, और जब पहली बार उन्होंने इंडियन म्यूजिशियंस को सुना सहयोग में, तो उन्हें तबला, सितार आदि देख के बहुत अच्छा लगा। तो इस तरह उन्हें इंडियन म्यूज़िक की तरफ सबसे पहले रुझान आया। फिर धीरे धीरे सहयोग में जब श्री माता जी को समझते गए, तो श्री माता जी की बताई हुई बातों में सभी देवी देवता आदि भी सब सीखते गए, और उन्हें लगा कि जब श्री माता जी बता रही हैं, समझा रही हैं, तो वो सब उनको धीरे धीरे समझ में आते गया, और ये सारी बातें उन्होंने एक्सेप्ट कर ली धीरे धीरे सहयोग में आके।
So I'm not a Catholic. It's not the Christianity that I was practicing was the Church of England. So it's a little bit different from the Catholic, Christian.
अंकल बता रहे हैं कि हाँ, should I translate that?
Yeah,
not required at least.
So अंकल बता रहे हैं कि वो कैथलिक प्रैक्टिस नहीं करते थे, पर उनको ले जाया गया था उनके माता पिता के साथ वहाँ पे।
Anglican. It's Anglican.
Anglican. Oh,
Yeah.
It's Anglican Christian. It's not Catholic Christian. अच्छा.
Not Catholic.
Okay. तो ये कैथलिक क्रिश्चियनिटी में नहीं गए थे, एंग्लिकन क्रिश्चियनिटी में गए थे। और एक और बात जो मैं कहना भूल गया, श्री माता जी ने कई बार कार्ल ह्यूंग का बहुत जिक्र किया है, तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में एलेक्स अंकल के पिताजी ने ह्यूम सोसाइटी की स्थापना की थी। तो एक बात और थी जहाँ से उनको रुझान आया होगा आध्यात्मिकता की तरफ।
So our whole family came along to Sahaja Yoga at the same time. So my mother was instrumental in bringing my father, and then I got two brothers and a sister, and we all came along. So our whole family was coming to Sahaja Yoga at that time. So it was like unusual for a whole family, Western family, to come along with their brothers and sisters and mother and father. So it was unusual, the whole for the whole family to be there, for in the West, that is.
I'll also tell that. So अंकल की माता जी जो थी वो सबसे पहले सहयोग में आई थी और इनके पिताजी को वो लेके आई और फिर इनके 2 भाई और एक बहन है और ये सारे के सारे सहयोग में एक साथ आ गए शुरुआत से ही। तो वेस्ट में ऐसा बहुत बहुत अजीब माना जाता है कि पूरा का पूरा कुंभा आ गया। हमारे यहाँ तो आम बात मानते हैं। तो इस तरह से सारा का सारा परिवार ही सहयोग में एक साथ जुड़ गया था।
Shri Mataji, Uncle, the next question that I wanted to ask you is, what was your first experience when you actually met Shri Mataji in person? How was she like? What were your feelings like when you met her for the first time?
So I remember very vividly because I had to wait some time because I thought she was going to come back to Australia, but then they said, "Oh, look, she'll be in India now for the rest of the year," and but they have an India tour. So a couple of things happened for me. I went. Actually, it was Guru Puja time in Australia, and I went down. I was staying. I was basically living close to the university, and I had a small house there. And I went down for Guru Puja, and it was such a strong experience for me. It was in Melbourne, another city in the south of Australia. So I went down for the puja, and then after I came back, I felt a very strong desire to move into the ashram. So I moved into the ashram. It was in July timeframe, and then I planned to go to India tour because in those days the tours were like 8 weeks. So Shree Mataji would have the tours starting around, usually starting in December, January, February. So it was, a couple of months of tour. And I was planning to go on the second half of the tour, and a 4-week portion of the tour. It wasn't the whole one. And I remember arriving there in, I think it was around January, the end of Jan. And then we went to, we took the bus from Mumbai up to Bordi, which is in Gujarat. It's, I think it's probably a couple of 100 kilometers up the coast. And then we had Shree Mataji arriving. And I remember everybody was just rushing to the road to see the car that was coming with Shree Mataji. And then I had my first glimpse of her in the car, and I was so excited to see her. And then she came out, and then we all gathered around, and she's smiling and saying, "So many people here," and she was so happy to see everybody. And I remember looking at her, and I just felt such a joy when I saw her, and I could feel my Kundalini shooting up, and I felt such strong vibrations, and I couldn't believe it that I was actually standing there in front of her with all the other yogis, of course. And then it was such a privilege to be in front of her. I was so happy that I was there. So that was my first feeling. And then I was so overjoyed, a lot of emotions, just to have that chance to see her. I had tears in my eye. I was just so joyful that that she was here. She was on the earth, and she was now helping and guiding us all.
अंकल से सवाल पूछा गया। विष्णु भैया, क्या मेरी आवाज अभी ठीक है?
बिल्कुल अच्छे से आ रही है।
अच्छा, अंकल से सवाल पूछा गया कि श्री माता जी से पहली मुलाकात उनकी कैसे हुई और क्या एक्सपीरियंस रहा उनका?
तो अंकल ने पहले बताया कि एक गुरु पूजा के बाद जो मेलबर्न में थी, अंकल को ऐसी इच्छा हुई कि वो आश्रम में ही रहने चल जाएं सहयोगियों के साथ। वहाँ पे एक सहयोग का आश्रम था, अंकल वहाँ चले गए थे। और उसके बाद एक टूर होने वाला था इंडिया का। तो ऐसे कई टूर होते थे जहाँ फॉरेनर्स आते थे और इंडिया का टूर करते थे श्री माता जी के साथ। तो वो उस टूर में शायद जनवरी के आसपास आए थे, और मुंबई से एक बस करके वो सब बोर्डी गए थे जो गुजरात में है। और वहाँ पे श्री माता जी आने वाली थी, और श्री माता जी वहाँ पे कार से आई, और पहली उनकी जो झलक अंकल को मिली वो श्री माता जी की कार में थी। और श्री माता जी उतरी और बहुत प्रसन्न थी कि सब यहाँ इतने सारे लोग सहयोगी आए थे। और अंकल को तभी श्री माता जी को देखते ही उनको बहुत आनंद हुआ, उनकी आंखों से आंसू निकलने लगे, और उनको लगा कि उनकी कुंडलिनी सहस्त्रार पार कर चुकी है। और उनको बहुत प्रसन्नता हुई कि उनको लगा कि उनको विश्वास नहीं हो रहा था कि श्री माता जी के सामने वो खड़े हैं और श्री माता जी हमारे साथ यहाँ पे हैं। तो इस तरह का उनका अनुभव रहा।
Jai Shri Mataji, thank you so much for sharing, Uncle. Wonderful experience to hear. So, after listening to the experience itself, I felt as if I went to Nirvicharita and I was there with you when Shri Mataji actually did. Thank you so much for sharing, Uncle. Wonderful experience. Uncle, the next question that I wanted to ask you, is there any miraculous experience that you would like to share with us that you had with Shri Mataji? Any fond such experiences that you would have had which, you know, had a profound impact on you and changed you probably externally or internally for your life?
There's many experiences I had, but I'll go back to when I was living in the ashram, because the miracles that I had, I mean, it was quite profound when I started Sahaja Yoga, because I was in my final year of university. It's a 4-year degree course in industrial design, and I was basically, you know, I was a little bit behind. I was finding it challenging because the vibrations at the university were so bad that I couldn't get into the university without getting a splitting headache. Every time I go into the university gate, my head would just start pounding. And then I'd have to retreat back to the ashram and have a foot soak and clear out for an hour or so before, you know, I'd feel okay. So it was like a challenge for me to even go to the university to my lectures and finish off what I was doing. And it was at this point I just wrote a letter to Shri Mataji, and because one of the leaders was going over to see Shri Mataji, and she was doing a tour in the US, and he was going to join the tour. So I sent a letter with him, and I wrote in the letter, I just said, Shri Mataji, I'm so happy that you're here on this earth, and thank you so much for my self-realization. And I just ask for your blessing to finish off my degree, you know, at university, my university degree. That's the only I ask for your blessings for that. And then he took the letter, and Shri Mataji read that. And then afterwards, I have to finish off my dissertation, my thesis. And I had all the research there, and I didn't know where to start. I had so much information and material. And then I just meditated, and Mother inspired me. And I just laid out all the sections of the thesis on the floor horizontally in piles of information. And I was able to write the thesis within a week, just constantly writing and writing. I was able to finish it. It was 300-page thesis. And I was able to finish that, you know, within a week and a half of compiling it, and then binding it and handing it in. I handed it on the last day. And then after I went back after the semester break, my lecturer saw me in the corridor of the university, and he came up and he said, that was one of the best theses that I've read in the last 20 years I've been at the university. He said to me, you know, it was outstanding. He said, you did an excellent job. It was, and I really didn't know it was mother working through me, because I can't even remember what I was writing, but it all just came together, and I got full marks. I mean, I got a distinction for that, high distinction for that piece. And that was the first thing that was, to me, a major miracle.
तो अंकल से सवाल पूछा गया कि कोई चमत्कारिक उन्हें घटना याद है श्री माता जी के साथ की। तो अंकल ने बताया कि तब जब सहयोग में आए थे, जैसे कि उन्होंने पहले बोला, उनकी पढ़ाई चल रही थी और इंडस्ट्रियल डिज़ाइन में उनकी पढ़ाई चल रही थी और उस समय डिसर्टेशन का उनका वक्त आ गया था, फाइनल थीसिस उन्हें जमा करनी थी। और उनके साथ ऐसा घटित हो रहा था कि जब भी वो कॉलेज जाते थे उनको बहुत सिर दर्द होने लगता था। ऐसा होता है जबकि अब वहाँ पे बहुत अगर नकारात्मकताएं हों तो ऐसा हो सकता है। और बोलते हैं कि जब भी वापस आते थे उनको 1 घंटा करीब फुटसो करना पड़ता था खुद को ठीक करने के लिए। तो ऐसे में उन्हें लगा कि श्री माता जी से कुछ प्रार्थना करूं। तो कोई लीडर थे ऑस्ट्रेलिया के जो श्री माता जी के साथ यूएस का दौरा करने जा रहे थे, तो उनके साथ अंकल ने एक लेटर लिख के श्री माता जी को भेजा। तो उस लेटर में उन्होंने बस इतना ही कहा कि श्री माता जी, आपका बहुत धन्यवाद कि आपने मुझे आत्म साक्षात्कार दिया है और आप इस धरती पर आई हैं। कृपया मेरी पढ़ाई ख़त्म होने के लिए मुझे आशीर्वादित करें। उसके बाद उन्होंने बहुत वो परेशान थे कि ये थीसिस मैं कैसे लिखूँगा। तो सारा उन्होंने हॉरिज़ॉन्टली, कहते हैं कि ज़मीन पे बिछा दिया जो भी उनकी थीसिस का काम था, और 1 हफ्ते के अंदर उन्होंने 300 पन्ने की वो थीसिस पूरी लिख डाली। और उसके बाद उनको उनके जो प्रोफ़ेसर थे वो एक बार मिले कॉरिडोर में कॉलेज में, तो कहते हैं कि आज तक की मेरे 20 साल के पढ़ाई में सबसे अच्छी डिसर्टेशन लिखी है ये किसी ने भी, तो बहुत ही उम्दा काम हुआ है। तो अंकल को सबसे पहला उनका चमत्कारिक एक्सपीरियंस ये था, क्योंकि उन्हें पता भी नहीं था वो क्या कर रहे हैं और इतनी जल्दी इतना बड़ा काम उनसे हो गया आसानी से।
The second part was I have to, after all the research, I have to actually produce a design, and I came up with a special standing frame for handicapped children, and it was an original idea, and it just came to me. It was like an inspiration again. Shri Mataji helping me to sort of come up with the design, and again it was a last minute thing. It was all done very spontaneously. I finished it off. I did the presentation. And again, my lecturer was so happy, and he said, because we have to draw the names out of a hat to see who would present, and my name came up first, so I was the first one to present. So I did the presentation. I have to have a panel of experts, and they present the design, and they ask questions. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And it was like, every time they asked a question, I had the perfect answer. And I was just thoughtless. I was like I was in this meditation, and every answer that I gave fitted perfectly. It made sense, and they were very satisfied. And then afterwards, the lecturer came up to me again, and he said, you did a fantastic job. He said, it's outstanding. And I topped the year. I got the highest mark for the faculty. And then I won an award, an Australian Design Award, Student Design Award, and then I got offered a job straight away. So this all happened, in sequence. It was just one thing after another, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, this is the blessing of Shri Mataji's. Only this could only happen through her blessing, and I felt that so strongly. At this time, so it was quite amazing.
इसके बाद इस थीसिस के बाद अंकल को काम था कि उन्हें एक डिज़ाइन प्रेजेंट करनी थी, और उसमें उन्होंने हैंडीकैप बच्चों के लिए एक डिज़ाइन बनाई थी जिसका कि उन्हें प्रेजेंटेशन देना था। वो प्रेजेंटेशन देते वक्त उनसे एक बड़ा पैनल था जिसने कई सवालात किए, और खटाखट अंकल को सारे जवाब आते गए, और उनको फिर से प्रोफेसर्स ने आके बहुत तारीफ करी कि बहुत ही उम्दा काम किया है, बहुत ही एक्सीलेंट काम हुआ है। इसके बाद उन्होंने पूरे उनके जो बैच थी, जो सालाना जो ईयर था, उनके ईयर में उन्होंने टॉप किया, कॉलेज में टॉप किया, और उसके बाद उन्हें ऑस्ट्रेलियन डिज़ाइन अवार्ड दिया गया, जो स्टूडेंट डिज़ाइन अवार्ड वहाँ पे होता होगा। उसके बाद वहाँ पे डायरेक्ट उनको जॉब मिल गया। आफ्टर दैट, उसके बाद कंप्लीट करने के बाद उन्हें डायरेक्ट वहाँ पे जॉब मिल गया। तो अंकल को विश्वास नहीं हो रहा था कि कैसे एक के बाद एक चीज़ें अपने आप घटित होती जा रही हैं, और ये सिर्फ श्री माता जी के आशीर्वाद से ही हो सकता है कि ऐसा हुआ हो। तो इस तरीके का चमत्कार ये अंकल के साथ हुआ।
That was the beginning, and then there were many miracles after that. So I traveled off to India. I went on this India tour, which was amazing. I did get a little bit sick on the tour. I had dysentery and I had some bad chest cold. So for me, the tour was a lot of clearing, as they say, to clear out. Your subtle body is cleared out from traveling, you know, with all in the buses, the Maharashtrian buses that they have, which are just, you know, the government buses, very sort of, we sort of had a joke that they had, the wheels were sort of elliptical so that you just jump up and down all the time in the buses. So it was quite an arduous task for traveling, but we didn't mind. We were just enjoying the vibrations and the chance to see Shree Mataji in pujas. So it was quite a miraculous feeling. And one of the most amazing pujas was 1984 on the banks of the Nehru River in Pandharpur. And we were sitting sort of actually in the sort of sand area, and Mother had this stage on there, and all the yogis were gathered, and it was Shivatri Puja. So it was the most profound puja. If you ever have a listen to the talk, 1984 Shivatri Puja, and it was Mother sort of took us to another level. And I remember, just because I had some, you know, physical discomfort in my stomach, and I'd been sort of had this dysentery for like already for a couple of weeks. I was feeling very weak, and I was dragging myself to the puja, but then I lost all feeling of the discomfort. I felt just so much vibration. It just took me up to such a higher state, and I was just joyful, and I lost all this, you know, this awareness of discomfort in the body. And this is the power of vibrations, because it just took me into another dimension. And that was another miraculous feeling that I had.
अंकल श्री माताजी के साथ इंडिया टूर पे आए थे, जिसमें कि उनको काफ़ी उनकी तबीयत ठीक नहीं रही, उनको कोल्ड हो गया और पेट खराब रहा। तो कई बार ऐसे योगियों को होता है जब उनकी सफाई होती है अंदर से, कई बार हमारे चक्रों की सफाई होने के कारण भी ऐसा होता है। और महाराष्ट्र की गवर्नमेंट बसों में बैठ के ट्रैवल किया करते थे, तो उसमें भी काफ़ी ऐसी स्थिति होती थी कि हम जानते हैं कि कैसी हमारी गवर्नमेंट बसेस होती हैं। तो उस समय पंढरपुर में एक पूजा का आयोजन था, शिवरात्रि पूजा का, और उस समय काफ़ी उनकी तबीयत ठीक नहीं थी और कैसे तो भी पूजा में बस जा रहे थे, ऐसी वाली स्थिति थी। तो पूजा में बैठने के बाद ऐसे वाइब्रेशंस और ऐसी स्थिति में माँ ले गई कि वो सारा डिस्कम्फर्ट, सारी वो परेशानी सब भूल गए, और धीरे एकदम स्थिति सब बदल गई, और पूरा वो जो तबीयत खराब वगैरह वो सब उनके लिए एकदम ठीक हो गया। तो ये उनके लिए अगला चमत्कार था।
And we traveled after the tour. I traveled on to London, and then I was staying in the UK in one of the ashrams in Brighton, and traveling a little bit around England. And then Shree Mataji returned to the UK at the end of February, March. And I remember going to the airport we had flowers, and we'd all traveled to the airport. It was, again, another memorable occasion when Mother, you know, obviously she's coming from India, and just when she smiles, your heart just, you know, melts, because you see this beaming smile, and she said, hello, how are you, you know? And we're also overjoyed to see her again. And then I was staying in one of the ashrams in London, and we got a call from Shree Mataji's house, and a yogi in the house had said that Shree Mataji wanted some Yuva, or not, we weren't Yuva Shakti, but I was only 23 at the time. So she said she wanted some boys to come over and help do some work in the house. And so we quickly, you know, jumped on the tube, the train, and we went over to Shree Mataji's house. And then when we entered down, there was basically, it was an Edwardian terrace house, 3 stories, or actually 5 stories high. So it was narrow, narrow and very tall, and had many floors. I think it was six floors, 5 or 6 floors. And we entered downstairs. There's a road level, and then there was a set of stairs down to the basement level. And we entered in the basement level, and it was, you know, February is quite cold in London. It's quite chilly, and we went in to the house, and it was so warm, and it was like going back to India. It was warm, and the vibrations were so strong. It was like being at a puja in Mother's house, and we just were so overwhelmed with vibrations. We just sat down and meditated. We were just enjoying the vibrations, and it was just such a peaceful and quiet. The vibrations were just so strong, and we just enjoyed this silence and this meditative feeling.
इस जो पूजा का बताया था, जो पंढरपुर में अटेंड करी थी, उसके बाद अंकल लंदन चले गए, ब्राइटन में आश्रम में रह रहे थे, और उसके बाद श्री माता जी मार्च फरवरी के आसपास श्री माता जी भी वापस आ गई, और उसके बाद तब वहाँ श्री माता जी को लेने एयरपोर्ट पे सब पहुँचे, और वो भी उन्हें बहुत यादगार उनकी एक याद है कि श्री माता जी को जब लेने गए थे तो श्री माता जी की मुस्कान देख के सब इतने प्रसन्नित हो गए थे। उसके बाद श्री माता जी के घर में कुछ काम था, तो उन्होंने जो युवा शक्ति रहते थे सब साथ में आश्रम में, उनको फ़ोन किया कि कुछ लोग आ जाओ मदद करने के लिए। तो ये सब ट्रेन पकड़ के श्री माता जी के घर की तरफ चल पड़े, और श्री माता जी के घर में श्री माता जी का घर उस समय 5 या 6 फ्लोर का घर था, काफ़ी बड़ा घर था, और उसमें बेसमेंट में इन्हें जाना था, जो नीचे सड़क के नीचे लेवल का था। और उस समय फरवरी का महीना, मतलब लंदन में बहुत ही ठंडा होता है, और बहुत ठंड के मौसम में भी बेसमेंट में गए तो उन्हें ऐसा लगा कि जैसे वापस इंडिया आ गए, एकदम गर्मी, बढ़िया, एकदम अच्छा मौसम लगा उन्हें। और उसके बाद वाइब्रेशंस जो वहाँ पे थे, तो उन्हें ऐसा लगा कि वापस पूजा में ही बैठ गए हम आश्रम में, जैसे पूजा में ही बैठ गए हों, ऐसा उन्हें घर में श्री माता जी के लगा नीचे बेसमेंट में जाके।
So we sat there probably for about half an hour, and then a yogi came and said, what are you doing? You're not here to meditate, you're here to do some work. So we had to get up, and we actually did some work, moving some furniture and unpacking some boxes and doing a few things. And then afterwards, in a little bit later in the afternoon, Shri Mataji invited us up for afternoon tea, and it was such an exciting time, because I'd only been close to Shri Mataji on 2 occasions, a couple of pujas in India where I did namaskar at a lotus feet. And then all of a sudden in this situation, we were sitting literally in front of Shri Mataji on the floor. There was a coffee table and Shri Mataji on the sofa, and pouring out coffee or tea for us. And she asked me, would you like tea or coffee? And then she looked at me and she said, no, you better have tea. Your liver's too hot. You shouldn't have coffee. So she poured me a cup of tea, and then she said, have lots of sugar because it's good for your liver. So she put some more sugar in for me. And then she stirred it up and gave it to me. And when I felt the cup, it was like, the tea was hot, but I could feel the coolness of vibrations coming from the tea. And it was like wind, like it was just flowing vibrations coming from the tea. And then I was just speechless. I was just, I was sitting, so close to Shri Mataji in front of her. And I just felt my heart sort of open, and I felt so joyful to be, sitting so close to her. And it's funny because all I had from the time I got realization was a desire to be close to her, and all of a sudden I'm sitting close to her. So she gave me that blessing, a miracle to be actually at a lotus feet.
इसके बाद उन्हें एक योगी ने आके कहा कि आपको काम भी करना है यहाँ पे, तो सब युवा शक्ति ने जो काम करने आए थे घर पे वो किया, और श्री माता जी ने फिर उन्हें चाय पे बुलाया, और श्री माता जी खुद सोफे पे बैठी थी और वो सब आसपास बैठे थे, और श्री माता जी उन्हें सबको चाय और कॉफ़ी दे रही थी। और श्री माता जी ने अंकल से पूछा कि आप चाय लेंगे या कॉफ़ी? तो श्री माता जी ने देख के बोला, नहीं, आपको तो चाय ही लेनी चाहिए, आपका लिवर बहुत गर्म है। और श्री माता जी ने ये भी कहा कि बहुत सारी शक्कर लीजिए साथ में कि लिवर के लिए अच्छा होगा। तो ऐसे करके श्री माता जी ने कप पकड़ा है अंकल को, और कप पकड़ते ही अंकल को लगा कि जैसे कि वैसे तो गर्म थी चाय, पर एकदम ठंडे वाइब्रेशंस जैसे कि उन्हें फील होने लगे, हवा सी फील होने लगी, और फिर वो पूरी तरह वो ध्यान की स्थिति में ही चले गए, आनंद में कि श्री माता जी के सामने बैठे हैं। ये पहला मौका ही था जब अंकल इतनी पास श्री माता जी के आ पाए थे। इससे पहले बस कभी पूजा में नमस्कार किया है श्री माता जी को, ऐसा रहा है। तो ये उनके लिए बहुत यादगार पल रहा।
And it was such an amazing experience to have, you know, the Adi Shakti pouring tea for you, and then giving you, she said, would you like a biscuit, you know? And I was just so touched because it was such a natural and warm, joyful sort of feeling of being looked after by your mother, you know? So she was just so loving, you know, as like a mother giving you tea and biscuit and making sure that you're happy. And then she asked me, and how did you enjoy the India tour? And I said, Shri Mataji, it was amazing. It was an incredible experience. I really enjoyed it. And she said, then she laughed and she said, but you got sick, didn't you? And I said, yes, Shri Mataji. She said, she said, it's your liver clearing out. So she said, you should be all right. You'll be okay. You just have to go on a liver diet. So from all my studies and working and years of studies at university, my liver had become quite hot. And so she was, you know, suggesting that I go on a liver diet. So again, I felt this incredible concern and compassion coming from Shri Mataji. You know, who am I? I'm just a young student, finished my studies and graduated, and then I'm sitting before the Adi Shakti, and she's just giving me motherly advice, you know, looking after my liver and looking after my vibration, you know.
अंकल इस पल को याद कर रहे हैं कि कैसे स्वयं आदि शक्ति उनके सामने बैठी थी और उनको चाय और बिस्किट ऑफर कर रही थी। और अंकल को ये याद आता है कि श्री माता जी ने उनसे पूछा कि इंडिया टूर कैसा लगा तुम्हें? तो अंकल ने कहा श्री माता जी बहुत अच्छा था। बट माँ हंसने लगी जोर से, क्योंकि माँ ने कहा तुम तो बीमार पड़ गए थे पर टूर पे। तो श्री माता जी ने बोला कि अच्छा रहा तुम्हारे लिए, तुम्हारा लिवर क्लियर हो रहा है उससे, तो धीरे धीरे सब ठीक होते जाएगा। और तो अंकल वही याद करते हैं कि कैसे श्री माता जी ऐसे चिंता और दिखाती थी, और इतना प्रेम सभी छोटे बच्चों के लिए भी, क्योंकि वो तो छोटे से यंग से ही थे जिन्होंने अभी पढ़ाई पूरी कर रहे थे, उनके लिए श्री माता जी ऐसे मातृत्व भाव दिखाते हुए इतनी चिंता व्यक्त करी थी। तो वो प्रेम और चिंता श्री माता जी की उन्हें याद आती है।
So we were just about 4 of us, you know, sitting around. So it was a very intimate and a very special time for me that I'd never had that opportunity to be so close to Mother at that point. And then we went, she said, come back tomorrow. There's some more work for you to do. And then she invited us to come again after the next day. We did some work around the place, and then again she invited us for afternoon tea again. And this time she was, serving us tea again. And then she said to me, she said, and what brings you to, because she knew that, she said, I'm from Australia. And she said, what brings you to London? And I said, I'm just having a year off before I start working. And at that stage, I had a plan to go and help. My Iraqi sister had gone back to Germany. She was German, married to an Australian, and she'd gone back to start Sahaja Yoga in Munich with her husband, who was also a yogi. And I knew them in the ashram in Sydney. And then I sort of said to Shri Mataji, I'm going to go to Munich to help start Sahaja Yoga, to help start, the ashram in Munich with my Iraqi sister. And then she just shook her head. She said, Munich, Germany is a horrible place. She said, it's just, horrible vibrations there. She said, you better not go there. She said, you better stay here. And I thought she meant here, meaning London. So afterwards, I left her I took darshan, and then we left the room, and then the leader of the UK came over to me and said, I don't know what you've done in your past life to deserve this, but Shri Mataji has invited you to come and stay with her in her house here at Brompton Square. And I couldn't believe what he just said. And I said, really? He said, yes, she wants you to come and stay. And I said, when should I move in? And he said, move in tomorrow. So that was such a surprise for me that Mother had invited me to come to stay with her. I had no idea. I thought that she wanted me to stay in London, didn't want me to go to Germany. But in actual fact, she wanted me to come and stay in her house, which was to me a huge blessing and a big shock, really, a surprise, because I never imagined in my wildest dreams that I'd be living with Shri Mataji. Again, it goes back to that first feeling that I had after realization that I'm here to serve her. All I want to do is to serve Shri Mataji, be close to Shri Mataji, and here she's giving me my desire, my desire to be close to her, and she's granting that wish, which was such a blessing for me.
तो जो पहले दिन श्री माताजी के घर कार्य किया और फिर चाय ली, उसके बाद श्री माताजी ने फिर एक बार इन सबको बुलाया और फिर से एक बार कुछ काम हुआ और श्री माताजी ने फिर से चाय पे सबको आमंत्रित किया। तब श्री माताजी ने अंकल से पूछा कि आप लंदन में कैसे हैं, आप तो ऑस्ट्रेलियन हैं, वहाँ पे आपकी पढ़ाई हुई, तो लंदन में क्या कर रहे हैं? तो अंकल ने समझाया कि मैं 1 साल पढ़ाई के बाद ऑफ ले रहा हूँ खुद के लिए, और सहयोग में उनकी एक राखी सिस्टर बनी थी जो म्यूनिक गई हुई थी जर्मनी अपने हस्बैंड के साथ। उनके हस्बैंड भी ऑस्ट्रेलियन थे, तो वो वहाँ पे म्यूनिक में सहयोग चालू करना चाहती थी और वहाँ पे आश्रम बनाने की कोशिश चल रही थी। तो अंकल ने तब सोचा हुआ था कि मैं भी म्यूनिक जाऊँगा और वहाँ पे सहयोग स्थापित करने में सहायता करूँगा। ऐसा उन्होंने श्री माताजी को भी बताया कि मेरा ऐसा विचार है। तभी श्री माताजी ने बोला, नहीं, जर्मनी बहुत खराब वाइब्रेशंस हैं और अच्छी जगह नहीं है, तुम वहाँ मत जाओ, तुम यहीं रहो। तो अंकल ने समझा कि यहीं का मतलब लंदन है, लंदन में ही रहना है। तो वो उसके बाद चाय के बाद वापस जाने वाले थे, तभी एक योगी ने आके उनसे कहा कि पता नहीं तुमने पिछले जन्मों में क्या ऐसे पुण्य कमाए हैं, बट श्री माताजी चाहती हैं कि तुम यहीं रहो, श्री माताजी के घर में ही रहो। तो अंकल के लिए बहुत ही बड़ा शौक था, उनको समझ नहीं आया ऐसा कैसे। और उनको याद आया कि शुरुआत में उनका पहला जो सहयोग में आत्म साक्षात्कार का एक्सपीरियंस था वो ऐसे ही था कि जब उन्हें फील हुआ कि मुझे श्री माताजी की ही सेवा करनी है और उनके नज़दीक ही रहना है, तो श्री माताजी ऐसा मौका उन्हें दे रही थी और फिर अगले दिन ही उन्हें घर में शिफ्ट होने के लिए आमंत्रित कर दिया।
So I went back to the ashram where I was staying, and the next day I packed all my things and I brought everything to the house, to Shri Mataji's house. But there were no instructions, where I was to stay. So I didn't know where to go. And then I thought I'll stay downstairs. There was a servant's quarters downstairs, and there was a servant. CP had a servant there. And then when I went to move my things there, the servant said, no, you can't stay here. This is my room. You can't stay here. And so I said, where should I stay? He said, just go upstairs. There's many rooms. You have to just go upstairs, he said. So I took my things up and I went, had a look at all the rooms, and I chose the smallest room I could find, because I didn't want to take a big room. So I chose one of the small rooms. And the house was so beautifully decorated. Shri Mataji had, there was a lot of gold leaf carvings, Indian furniture, beautiful chandeliers, beautiful wallpaper, silk wallpaper, and beautiful Kashmiri carpets on the floors. It was like a palace, a small palace that Mother had made, and all the yogis had spent a lot of time decorating and helping to build it over the years. And Shri Mataji, and it was basically, she was doing more renovation work on it, and I was helping with that as well.
तो इसके बाद अंकल बताते हैं कि वो घर में अगले दिन शिफ्ट हो गए और उन्हें कुछ पता नहीं था कहाँ जाना है, तो नीचे सर्वेंट क्वार्टर्स में ही अंकल जाने लग गए। तो वहाँ सर्वेंट्स ने बोला, नहीं आपके लिए नहीं है, आप ऊपर जाइए, बहुत सारे रूम्स हैं, तो अंकल ने सबसे छोटा जो रूम उन्हें मिला वो उन्होंने चूज़ कर लिया ताकि ओवर बियरिंग ना हो जाए। और वहाँ पे अंकल बताते हैं कि बहुत ही सुंदर घर था और बहुत सुंदर कारपेट्स और इंडियन फर्नीचर और दीवारों पे सुंदर सुंदर नक्काशियाँ आदि सब वहाँ पे थे। तो ऐसा लगता था जैसे श्री माता जी ने एक सुंदर सा एक महल वहाँ पे बना लिया है, और सहयोगी भी उस घर को सुंदर करने में कार्यरत रहते थे। अंकल भी इसी कार्य के लिए वहाँ पे गए थे।
So to me, it was like one continuous miracle because I was living in the house of Shri Mataji. So for me, it was an amazing time because you could imagine the vibrations of a very strong puja. You multiply that by 10 times, and then you'll get an idea of the vibrational strength that you feel around Shri Mataji in your house. You can't think. You're just all the time in this thoughtless state, meditative state. You're just enjoying every minute because the vibrations are so strong. Though around Shri Mataji, there's a lot of things happening. You know, she's organizing things for the India tour. She's organizing tours in America. People are rigging. People are coming. Visitors coming and going. It's like a whirlwind, and you're at the center of that universe around Shri Mataji. So many things are moving around, and then you can feel these dynamic things working out. So it's on many levels. I mean, we only see one level as the physical, but you can feel on a subtle level a lot of things working out. All my chakras I could feel churning and clearing, and then she was working on me. I could feel this. Any time she put attention on me, I could feel things working out. So it was like having this 24-hour clearing and vibrational work going on intensively every day that I was with her.
अंकल बता रहे हैं कि श्री माता जी के आसपास बहुत कार्य होते रहते थे, कई सारे टूर्स की तैयारी होती रहती थी, अमेरिका टूर, इंडिया टूर, बहुत सारे सहयोगी आते थे और काफ़ी सारा काम होता रहता था। और उस सब के बीच में श्री माता जी जैसे कि उनके आसपास ये सब काम चलता रहता है, और सिर्फ जो हमें दिखता है उसी स्तर पे नहीं, कई सारा कार्य श्री माता जी सटल लेवल पे करती थी। उनको फील होता था कि कैसे उनके चक्रों की सफाई होती रहती है, और जब भी श्री माता जी उन पे चित्र डालती थी तो कैसे उनके काम होते जाते थे, और उन्हें ऐसा महसूस होता था जैसे कि कोई बहुत ही अच्छी पूजा के बाद जैसे वाइब्रेशंस होते हैं उन्हें आप 10 गुना मल्टीप्लाई कर दीजिए, और फिर वैसे जो वाइब्रेशंस हो वैसे उन्हें वहाँ पे 24 घंटा महसूस होता था।
So one day she asked me to there was a driver that was a yogi driver that was normally there, and one day he had to go and urgent things, he couldn't be around. So Shri Mataji asked me, she said, "Can you drive?" And I said, "Yes, Shri Mataji, I have my license, I can drive." So she asked me to bring the car at 10 o'clock. We're going to go to Southall, which is a place in London. And in those days, we didn't have any GPS. It was all these street directories, and they had an A to Z street directory, which was only a small one. And you have to, turn many pages to work out where to go to the place where she wanted to go. So I was trying to desperately look at this and try and figure out how to get to this place. And then she said to me, "Bring the car. I want to go. Is it ready to go?" And I went down and got the car, came and brought Shri Mataji to the car, and we drove. And she said, "Don't worry, just turn here." And so I was just following her directions of where she was saying, but I was trying to remember the landmarks along the way, so I wouldn't forget where I was, and that I could remember how to get back. And it seemed to take a long time because just my mind was so occupied with trying to remember things. And Shri Mataji was quiet; she wasn't talking, so I was just concentrating on where I'm going. And we eventually ended up in the Southall. We found it, and I parked the car, and we did some shopping. And then she talked about many things. And at that stage, she was talking about how the British had invaded India for 500 years, and they'd looted they took all the wealth out of India. And she was saying that the people in Southall, which was an Indian community, they'd all come to England and worked very hard. They had businesses. They got their children educated. She said they bring the whole economy up, but the British don't appreciate them because they're not, they just see them as they're taking their jobs away. She said these people are creating wealth for Britain, you know, they're creating wealth for these Britishers. And she said the Britishers are so lazy, they just want to be on the dole. They don't want to work hard. And she said the Indians come here, they have the opportunity, they just work hard and they do well. And she was just explaining that to me and saying that the Britishers are very racist against Indians. And she said they're not very nice. And then as she said that, there was this, this white, this very British guy shouting at these Indians because they were parking in close to his house. It was an open street. There weren't private parking, but these Indian boys were just parking their car. And this guy came out. He put some witches' hats in that spot and wouldn't let them park there. And they were saying, this is a public street. You can't just take and reserve these spots. And this guy was shouting at them. And Shri Mataji said, look at this fellow, look at how he's behaving. You know, she was very shocked. And I said, there's no respect for people, you know.
तो एक दिन श्री माताजी को साउथ हॉल में प्रोग्राम था, तो जो योगी एक गाड़ी चला के ले जाते थे उस समय नहीं थे, तो श्री माताजी ने अंकल से पूछा कि उन्हें गाड़ी चलाना आता है कि, तो अंकल ने बोला हाँ माँ मेरे पास लाइसेंस है, मैं चला सकता हूँ। तो उस समय जीपीएस नहीं होता था और अंकल को रास्ता बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आ रहा था, वो ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहे थे किसी चीज़ में रास्ता। श्री माताजी ने बोला चिंता मत करो, गाड़ी में बैठो, और श्री माताजी बताती गई कि इधर मुड़ो उधर मुड़ो, और अंकल याद करने की कोशिश करते रहे कि कैसे कहाँ जा रहे हैं, पर वो कुछ ध्यान नहीं रख पाए, और पर अंत में वो साउथ हॉल पहुँच गए। फिर वहाँ पे प्रोग्राम हुआ और श्री माताजी से उन्हें चर्चा याद आती है वहाँ पे कि श्री माताजी कह रही थी कि ब्रिटिश बिल्कुल इंडियंस जो आते हैं उनके प्रति उनको कोई रिस्पेक्ट नहीं रखते हैं, और इंडियंस यहाँ पे आके बहुत वेल्थ बना रहे हैं देश के लिए, ब्रिटेन के लिए, और ब्रिटेन ने तो इतने साल भारत को राज करके उन्हें लूटा है, पर यहाँ पे इंडियंस आके बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं, पर ब्रिटिश कुछ काम नहीं करना चाहते हैं। तभी उन्होंने सामने देखा कि एक ब्रिटिश आदमी कुछ इंडियन बच्चे वहाँ पे गाड़ी पार्क करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे उनके घर के सामने। तो नॉर्मल स्ट्रीट थी, वहाँ पे कोई प्राइवेट पार्किंग नहीं थी, पर वो पार्क करने नहीं दे रहे थे और बहुत ही बदतमीजी से शायद पेश आ रहे थे। श्री माता जी उसको देख के बहुत शॉक हुई और बोला देखो किस तरह लोग यहाँ पे इंडियंस के साथ बर्ताव कर रहे हैं।
So we did some shopping, and she was preparing some Indian food. So we were doing the shopping for the vegetables, and she bought some meat and some lamb at the butcher. And after we'd done all the shopping, I brought the car and we went back, and we're driving back. And Shri Mataji was just talking about the problems of racism and the problems of people that feel superior. You know, she said there's just this ego, the Western ego, that's dominating these countries, that they come, they take over a country. And she said the Indian culture goes back thousands of years. They've had much more civilization than any of these British people have had. And they've known such wisdom. We've had such great poets. We've had such great sages and rishis. And she said they come with their version of Christianity, with a Bible in one hand and a gun in the other. And she was talking about all these problems that were created by the British in the world. She said everywhere they've gone, they've created these problems all over the world. And they divided India up. They created this false divisions between India. You know, they created Pakistan and Bangladesh. And she said all these problems were divide and conquer. She said that's what these Britishers do.
उसके बाद अंकल बता रहे हैं कि श्री माता जी बता रही थी भारत की सभ्यता के बारे में कि ये कितनी पुरानी प्राचीन है, और कई सारे यहाँ पे ऋषि मुनि हुए, बहुत आर्ट हमारे देश में रहा है, पर ये ब्रिटिश ये बात नहीं समझते और उनकी सभ्यता से काफ़ी पुरानी भारतीय सभ्यता है और भारत में कई ऋषि मुनि आदि हो गए। और इस तरह की बातें श्री माता जी समझा रही थी। बट श्री माता जी कह रही थी ब्रिटिश जब आए क्रिश्चियनिटी लेके इंडिया में, तो एक हाथ में बाइबल और एक हाथ में गन लेके आए और उन्होंने सिर्फ विभाजन ही दिया भारत को जब पाकिस्तान और बांग्लादेश बन गया। इस तरह की वार्तालाप श्री माता जी के साथ अंकल की।
So my full attention was on Shree Mataji while I was driving. I wasn't thinking. I was just completely thoughtless. And I just realized after some time that I wasn't thinking about where I was going. I wasn't trying to consciously remember the route. I was just following it without any thought. And then we arrived back at Shree Mataji's house in Brompton Square in London. I parked the car. Shree Mataji, when it was in meditation, she was just very quiet in meditation. And then she just said to me, she said, I've been watching you. She said, you were very, very concerned about getting to Southall today on the way there. She said, your mind was so occupied with thinking about this, thinking about that. And she said, your whole attention was just, embroiled in these ideas, in these concepts of where you need to go. And she narrated the journey like it was in my head. She said, you saw this church there. You said you must remember that. You went around the roundabout there. You noted that. So I could see that she knew exactly what was going on in my mind for that journey. And then on the way back, everything went very quickly. I mean, it just seemed to just pass in no time. Whereas on the way there, it seemed to take hours, to get there. And then she said to me, she said, time is an illusion. She said, on the way back, she said, you were enjoying, you were just in the moment, you were in meditation. So it didn't seem to take any time at all, did it? And I said, no, Shri Mataji, it just didn't seem to take long at all. And she said, because the time is an illusion, it's just an illusion. And she said, you can feel it. The vibrations are beyond time, beyond space. And I just went into this profound sense of presence, of being here. She said, in the present moment, she said, time doesn't exist. And I could feel it. I could just feel this incredible sense of presence when Mother was saying that. And I felt this incredible flow of vibrations. Again, this feeling of joy that you're in the presence of the Adi Shakti, you're in the presence of God, and you could feel it. You could just feel this enveloped in this joyful feeling of being in that present moment.
तो अंकल बता रहे हैं कि जैसे वो जो यात्रा रही कि साउथ हॉल तक जो गए, तब अंकल पूरा याद करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे कि कहाँ मुड़े, कहाँ से जा रहे हैं, और उन्हें ऐसा लग रहा था कि बहुत समय लग रहा है, घंटों लग गए हैं पहुंचने में। और आते समय जो श्री माता जी के साथ उनकी बातें चलती रही, तो इस समय उन्हें ऐसा एहसास हुआ कि मुझे तो पता ही नहीं चला और श्री माता जी बता भी नहीं रही हैं, और मैं खुद ही रास्ता पूरा याद रख के चलते जा रहा हूँ और कुछ विचार भी नहीं चल रहे हैं इस बारे में। तो जब ये वापस श्री माता जी घर पहुंच गए, तो श्री माता जी ने बोला, मैं तुम्हें देख रही थी, तुम जाते समय सोच रहे थे कि अब ये चर्च है, अब यहाँ से मुड़ना है, अब ये ध्यान रखना है, और तुम्हें बहुत दिमाग तुम्हारा चला था, और आते समय तुम बिल्कुल शांत थे और तुम पूरे निर्विचार होके ध्यान की स्थिति में ही तुम गाड़ी चला रहे थे, तो बिल्कुल समय का पता नहीं चला ना तुम्हें? तो बोले, हाँ श्री माता जी, मुझे बिल्कुल समय का पता नहीं चला, एकदम शांत चित्त होके हम यहाँ आ गए। श्री माता जी ने बोले, जो समय है ये अपने आप में एक भ्रांति है। आप अभी इस समय अगर आप ध्यान में हैं तो समय की कोई महत्ता नहीं है। आप जो भी आप प्रेजेंट में हैं तो आप ध्यान में हो सकते हैं। और उन्हें भी ऐसा महसूस हुआ कि हाँ श्री माता जी सही कह रही हैं।
So in her presence, you have this opportunity to be in a credible thoughtless state. So I had this all the time. And then after I left and went back to Australia, I started working. I have to remind myself that the reality is actually in this state of thoughtless awareness. This is the reality. This is the actual present moment. And yet your mind is creating all of this illusion right? We're projecting into the future where these abstract thoughts that we have in the brain are just illusory things. They're not real. They're just a projection of your mind or your imagination. And this is the profound thing. From this experience I had, I realized that actually where we have to just be in that state of enjoying the presence and be comfortable in that state, because we're so conditioned to think, and our mind is always thinking, that we forget that the divine is looking after every minute of our existence. The divine is there looking after us. And we just have to let go and surrender to that divinity, and all the things will just work out, because it's really understanding that only through surrender that we can achieve something, only through letting it go, because the idea of ego and all these things are illusory. They're transient, but the reality of spirit. And I think that's what I learned from this experience of being in the presence of Shri Mataji at this time.
अंकल बता रहे हैं कि कैसे उस समय उन्हें गहन ये बातें समझ में आई कि निर्विचार रह के जो हम ध्यान में रहते हैं, बस वही सच्चाई है। बाकी जो हम विचार में चलते रहते हैं हमारे अहंकार और कंडीशनिंग के कारण, वो हम व्यर्थ ही करते हैं और उस समय कुछ हासिल नहीं होता है। और जो सच्चाई है, जो रियलिटी है, वो निर्विचार रह के, प्रेजेंट में रह के ही पाई जा सकती है। तो अंकल को इस तरह के अनुभव उस समय प्राप्त हुए।
There are many more miracles, but I'm just mindful of the time, because we've kind of gone a little bit over time, wondering how things for everybody else.
Yes, Shri Mataji uncle. My opinion is to continue. We can take the other questions in the next session, if you're okay with it.
Sure. Yeah, we can continue.
We'll continue with the experiences, uncle. They're very nice to hear. I'm sure everyone is benefiting out of it. So we'll continue with the experience for some more time, uncle, and rest of the questions we'll probably take in the next session.
Okay, that's fine. So you could imagine that I look back on those times where I was in the presence of Shri Mataji, and it's really like yesterday. I mean, the clarity of the experience is so strong, and every time I put my attention back to that moment, I'm there again, and I can feel the vibrational flow. So it's like, you resonate with that awareness, and you resonate with the vibrations of Shri Mataji, and you just feel yourself transported back to that time in this beautiful cocoon. It's like it's another dimension. It's like the kingdom of heaven when you're with Shri Mataji in that space. And every day was an adventure. Every day was just this incredible experience of being with her. So it started on a daily basis. I would be making her breakfast, in the morning, and I would take her to tea and breakfast and serve it to her in her bedroom. And then I would place it in front of her. She was sitting on a couch, a settee, and then I would place it in front of her, and then she would eat. And she said, sit, and then I would sit at her feet. And again, she would talk with me like all these incredible things. One day she was listening. She said, I have this tape. This bhajan singer has sent me this tape. And she said, find a tape recorder. So I went and got a tape recorder and plugged it in, and we were playing this tape. And the bhajans were in praise of Shri Mataji. And then it's in Hindi, and so she's translating it for me. She's translating the Hindi into English for me and saying, and then she said, oh, it's rather embarrassing because he's singing he's praising me and saying that, this and this and this. So she was saying it's a little embarrassing that he's praising me like this and praising me like that. And she's laughing and she's translating. And it was just so a beautiful moment, because, you're having the Adi Shakti translate a bhajan, which was a bhajan singing about her divine qualities. And then she's saying to me, oh, it's a little embarrassing because, he's saying, that I have this power and I've got this quality, and so it was really an amazing time to be sitting in front of Mother at that point.
अंकल याद कर रहे हैं कि श्री माता जी के साथ जब वो रह रहे थे तो किस तरह वो श्री माता जी के लिए ब्रेकफास्ट भी बनाते थे, फिर आके श्री माता जी के साथ बैठते थे. तो एक बार अंकल, was it संजय तलवार अंकल्स भजन?
No, this was another artist.
Okay.
In fact, Sanjay had come to visit, and that's where I met him for the first time. He came to Shri Mataji's house because his parents had come, and they got realization, and then they said to Sanjay he should come and visit. So one day Sanjay came to the door, and I greeted him, and then we showed him in, and then he got his realization in the house at that point in time.
He's there. His video is also on, actually. Sanjay Talwar uncle is there.
Yeah. So that was the beginning for.
Yeah. So I'll just complete my translation, then you can move on to the story with Sanjay Talwar. So अंकल बता रहे हैं कि कैसे श्री माता जी खुद एक दिन उन्हें कहा कि आप एक टेप रिकॉर्डर लेके आइए, और कोई सहयोगी भजन गायक थे जिनका भजन वो सुन रही थी, और श्री माता जी उनको ट्रांसलेट करके इंग्लिश में समझा रही थी. तो अंकल याद कर रहे हैं कि श्री माता जी कह रही थी कि थोड़ी उन्हें शर्म आ रही है कि खुद के बारे में उन्हें बताना पड़ रहा है कि भजन गायक श्री माता जी की तारीफ कर रहा है भजन में. तो अंकल उस बात को याद करते हैं कि कैसे श्री माता जी को ही खुद को शर्म आ रही थी ट्रांसलेशन में. और अंकल, we can move on to the story about Sanjay Talwar.
Yeah, so Sanjay had come and to Shri Mataji's house. His parents had said that he should come to get his realization, and I remember he came in and he said to me, I was the first Sahaja Yogi that he met. So it was quite at the very beginning. This is in 1984, and in the summer. So it was July, probably around July, I think, June or July. And then we'd had this, he had this audience and realization with Shri Mataji, and then I gave him a copy of the Advent book to take back with him. And then he went off, and then later Shri Mataji had asked him to actually do bhajans and write music. That was some time later, probably another year after that was when Shri Mataji started to ask him to do the bhajan, or a year or two after that.
Alex, it was today, 4th of July.
Well, 4th of July. There you go.
Today.
The day was, I couldn't remember the exact day, but now, that's great, Sanjay. 4th of July. This is your anniversary.
Yes. Thank you.
Our anniversary.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Wonderful. Lovely to hear you. Please carry on.
अंकल बता रहे हैं कि कैसे संजय तलवार अंकल पहली बार वहीं श्री माता जी घर आए थे आत्म साक्षात्कार के लिए. वो आज ही का दिन था, 4 जुलाई का, और पहले सहयोगी जो उनको मिले थे वो एलेक्स अंकल ही थे. तो तब अंकल को एडवेंट बुक की भी कॉपी दी गई थी, और इस तरह संजय तलवार अंकल का आत्म साक्षात्कार हुआ था. तो ये एक छोटी सी घटना अंकल ने बताई.
Alex had taught me how to do shoe beating, and he taught me many things about Sahaja Yoga, which I didn't know, and he was the one who brought me to Shri Mataji's house and introduced me back to her when I could spend some time with her. He left us there, and I remember that was my first day in Sahaj, after the day I took my realization also. Although I had met her before and known her, but my first experience overseas, especially with my brother Alex, and till today, I consider him as my guru brother. That's what I always address him as.
अंकल हिंदी में भी बोल दीजिए एक बार.
एलेक्स भैया, पहली बार को मैं इनको मिला था लंदन में. ये श्री माता जी के पास रह रहे थे ब्रैम्पटन स्क्वायर में, और श्री माता जी ने इनको भेजा था मेरे को एयरपोर्ट से लाने के लिए. मेरे को बुलाया था वहां रहने के लिए, पहली बार मैं गया था और उनके घर मुझे ये लेके गए थे और वहां मेरे को श्री माता जी ने आत्म साक्षात्कार दिया। और फिर उसके बाद ये मेरे को एक जगह ले गए थे जहां इन्होंने मेरे को बैठ के सहज योग के बारे में हर चीज समझाई, कैसे शुभीट करते हैं और कैसे बंधन देते हैं और कैसे ध्यान करते हैं। तो ये पहले सहयोगी मेरी लाइफ में आए जिन्होंने मुझे बड़े विस्तार में सहयोग के बारे में समझाया, इसलिए मैं उनको अपना गुरु भाई मानता हूँ आज भी। जय श्री माता जी।
जय श्री माता जी। So these were very special times, and I remember later on in July the family, Shri Mataji's family joined, and there was Sanna Didi and Rommel uncle had come from India with their two children, Anand and that we were looking after, we were sort of busy looking after the family, and Shri Mataji had moved over to another flat with the family. So she wasn't actually living in the house at that time. So she'd gone off to another flat in Hampstead. She was staying there, looking after the family there in that flat.
So अंकल बता रहे हैं कि कुछ समय बाद श्री माता जी के परिवार जन आए हैम्पस्टेड में, वो लोग सब मूव कर गए, एक दूसरे फ्लैट में रहने चले गए और अंकल वहीं श्री माता जी के घर में ही रह रहे थे। श्री माता जी वहाँ से दूसरे घर में रहने चली गई थी।
And then I used to take Anand and Sonilika, his sister, I used to take him to the park and I used to play cricket with him. He was mad on cricket, so I used to play cricket. He could play all day. He was so happy that somebody would be playing cricket with him. So I used to be babysitting them, looking after them, and having some fun with them in the park.
Uncle, who's this Anand? Did you mention Anand?
Anand Varma, Shri Mataji's grandson.
Okay.
Anilika, Shri Mataji's granddaughter.
So Shri Mataji के जो पोते थे आनंद और
नाती टुल्लू, नाती
हाँ क्षमा सॉरी, श्री माता जी के नाती थे, उनको लेके पार्क में जाते थे और उनका ध्यान रखते थे। अंकल का उस समय ये काम हो गया था।
It was an interesting dynamic because Shri Mataji had many aspects. So we see Shri Mataji as our guru, as the Adi Shakti, as this divine personality. But then she would also be a mother, looking after her daughters and her grandchildren. She would also be the wife of a diplomat, entertaining diplomats' wives and going to receptions, and living that diplomatic sort of existence in London, because Sir CP was the head of the International Maritime Organization based out of London. And so he was living in this moving in the diplomatic circles. And so she played, you see her in many different roles. And then you realize that she's she can adapt to whatever situation. Like she was a diplomat's wife, and then she would be having a tea party for all these diplomats' wives, which were ambassadors' wives and people, important diplomatic circles would come. And then I'd be making cucumber sandwiches and tea and pouring tea for these ladies. And then Shri Mataji would look at me and smile, and she said, and he's one of my disciples, So it was quite funny, to be in this situation with all these, diplomatic wives there, and then Mother just casually talking about, self-realization and trying to give them realization. Some of them they could feel it, and she said, "No, come and work on this, and feel above the Kundalini," and she would work on these ladies. And then she'd always say afterwards, she said, "Oh, some of these women are so caught up." She said they're so, they're just so enamored with their position as a diplomat's wife, and she said there's so much ego with these people, you know. She said I get fed up with these people. I have to shake hands with all these horrible people. She said, you know, that she said you've got no idea what these people are doing. She said they're taking drugs, they're doing this, they're horrible, you know, horrible things going on in this.
तो अंकल बता रहे हैं कि कैसे अब उस समय जैसे अब अंकल ने श्री माता जी को एक देखा कि कैसे अपने परिवार की वो चिंता कर रही हैं, परिवार की देखभाल कर रही हैं, और कैसे वो सहयोगियों का भी ध्यान रखती थी, सहयोग के कार्य भी करती थी। और साथ ही साथ श्री माता जी के पति, जैसा हम जानते हैं, सर सीपी इंटरनेशनल मैरीटाइम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के हेड थे, लंदन में 7 बार चुने गए थे लगातार। तो कई सारे एम्बेसडर्स और उनकी पत्नियां और ऐसे उन सब लोगों के साथ उठना बैठना, बड़े बड़े लोगों के साथ उनका रहता था। तो श्री माता जी ऐसे लोगों के लिए भी टी पार्टी घर पे करती थी, उन्हें बुलाती थी। तो वो भी एक एस्पेक्ट श्री माता जी के अंकल ने देखा। और वहाँ भी अंकल श्री माता जी के साथ रहते थे, तो वो उसमें अंकल श्री माता जी की हेल्प करते थे, उनको सर्व करने में। और ऐसे श्री माता जी उन प्रोग्राम्स में भी सबको सहयोग के बारे में बताती थी, और बताती थी कि अंकल कैसे श्री माता जी के एक डिसाइपल हैं। और फिर बाद में अंकल को बताती थी श्री माता जी की ये जितने भी ये बड़े बड़े लोग हैं, ये सब बहुत गलत कामों में लगे हुए हैं, और वो बता नहीं सकते तुम्हें क्या क्या गलत काम कर रहे हैं, पर ऐसे लोगों के साथ मुझे उठना बैठना पड़ता है और हाथ मिलाना पड़ता है। तो काफ़ी ये तकलीफ वाली बात थी श्री माता जी के लिए।
And I remember at one stage she was having a difficult time with CP because she was fed up with going to these diplomatic functions. And one day I had to take her to the bank and do some shopping. So I drove the car around, and then we went across London, and then I don't know what happened, but somehow I got lost, and I ended up, instead of going to South Kensington, I went to North Kensington, which was the opposite place of where I was supposed to be, and I couldn't work out what happened. And then Shri Mataji was saying, you know, I don't know why we're here. You know, it must be to vibrate this area or something. And I'm driving around, and she said, better ask where we are. And then I asked somebody, and they said, oh, you're in North Kensington. So I came back to Shri Mataji and said, I'm in North Kensington, and we're in North Kensington, Shri Mataji. And she said, North Kensington? What on earth are we in here, North Kensington? She just started laughing, and she said, we're supposed to be in South Kensington. And then she said to me, I think the deities have played a trick on you, because she said, I didn't want to go to this diplomatic function, and they've played a trick on you. So they've made you go to the opposite place of where you're supposed to be. And then because we got lost, and she couldn't come back in time to go to this diplomatic function, and CP had to go by himself. And anyway, we drove back, and that evening he came back and he was furious. He was so upset, and you know, shouting and at Shri Mataji, and I had to sort of say, it's my fault, sir. I got lost. I got completely lost, and then Shri Mataji, it's all my fault. You know, it's not Shri Mataji's fault. You know, I took the blame because it was, you know, I got lost, and then Shri Mataji sort of looked at me, and she just went like this and smiled when he wasn't looking. And then, so I basically, he couldn't say anything again, you know, couldn't get angry with me because it wasn't, you know, and then it diffused it. So, but then the next day, Shri Mataji said, this fellow is torturing my life. She said, go and beat him with shoes. So I'm sort of downstairs every day beating him with shoes because, you know, he was just, you know, torturing her life, as she said. You know, she was bothered by all this stuff, and so it was kind of funny for me to be in the middle of all this and on a domestic level and seeing all these things going on. So it was quite funny.
अंकल एक कहानी एक वाकया याद कर रहे हैं, जब तो श्री माता जी को जैसे कई ऐसे फंक्शंस में जाना पड़ता था जहाँ सर सीपी को होना पड़ता था, क्योंकि वो इतनी बड़ी पोजीशन पे थे। तो श्री माता जी को बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं था यहाँ सब ऐसी सब जगहों पे जाना। तो एक बार अंकल श्री माता जी को ड्राइव करके ले जा रहे थे, और गलती से वो नॉर्थ केंसिंगटन चले गए साउथ की जगह। तो जब उन्हें पता चला तो श्री माता जी ने कहा, हम यहाँ क्यों आ गए? ज़रूर ही देवताओं ने कुछ तुम्हारे साथ तुम्हारे साथ कुछ छल किया है ताकि मुझे वहाँ जाना ना पड़े, मुझे वहाँ जाना बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है। तो फिर वापस घर आ गए और जब सर सीपी आए वापस तो उनको बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा था कि क्यों नहीं आई श्री माता जी उस डिनर में। तो अंकल ने सारा ब्लेम खुद पे ले लिया और बोला कि मेरी गलती थी, मैं गलत जगह पहुंच गया था। तो इसलिए इससे फिर सर सीपी का गुस्सा शांत हो गया। तो उसके बाद श्री माता जी ने अंकल को इनफैक्ट शुबीट करने के लिए कहा सर सीपी के लिए कि ऐसी जगहों पे जाके मैं बहुत परेशान हो रही हूँ तो तुम शुबीट करो। तो अंकल वो भी करते थे। तो एक अलग ही लेवल पे जाके अंकल ने पूरे पारिवारिक लेवल पे श्री माता जी को देखा उस समय।
And at that time, she said to me that, I keep my family out of Sahaja Yoga. She said if they were doing anything, she said they'd make a mess of Sahaja Yoga if they were running things here, So she said, I keep them out. I don't like them to interfere with my work. But she said, I have to manage them. She said, I'm the wife and I'm the mother, I'm the grandmother. I have to manage them so that they're happy. I have to keep them happy, So she was always sort of, buying them things, looking after them, always concerned, so compassionate, so loving as a mother, looking at how she looked after the grandchildren, the family. She's always shopping and buying gifts for them and keeping them happy. And then later in the month, Kalpana came with her family and her 2 children. And then we were going shopping and mother was, I was just looking after trying to help as much as I could. But I just see that the divine work was so important for Shri Mataji, and that was her number one priority. But at the same time, she had to balance that because she did have responsibilities as a mother, a grandmother, and a wife, So it's like she's managing all these aspects of her, and you see her every day she's playing this role and different aspects. But all the time you're feeling this constant, this strength of vibrations from Mother, like wherever she goes, there's just this incredible aura of vibrations around her. And you just feel so peaceful and joyful to be in that state, that blissful state all the time. And wherever you're driving, whatever you're doing, you're just always in that sense of oneness, that sense of presence, and feeling so privileged that you're witnessing and able to experience these moments with Shri Mataji.
अंकल बता रहे हैं कि कैसे श्री माता जी कहती थी कि मुझे इन सब का भी ध्यान रखना आवश्यक है। मैं एक माँ भी हूँ, एक दादी भी हूँ, एक बीवी भी हूँ, और पूरे परिवारजनों को खुश रखना भी मेरे लिए अत्यंत आवश्यक है। तो श्री माता जी कहीं उनके लिए गिफ्ट्स लेती थी, उन्हें हमेशा खुश रखती थी और उनका पूरा ध्यान रखती थी। और अंकल भी उन्हें, श्री माता जी को हेल्प करते थे जितना कर सकते थे ऐसा करने में। और उसके बाद अंकल बता रहे हैं कि उन्हें लगता था कि वो बहुत भाग्यशाली हैं कि श्री माता जी के साथ रहते थे, क्योंकि हर समय उन्हें वो चैतन्य और वो एक रूपता महसूस होती थी श्री माता जी के साथ।
And during this time, I mean, I've personally had some dramas as well, because during this time I was with Shri Mataji, my own mother suffered a massive stroke. So she had an incredible brain hemorrhage. My father rang me up and said, your mother's had a stroke. And so I told Shri Mataji, and she gave a bandhan, and she said, don't worry, everything will be all right. And then a day later, he rang to say that she's gone, she passed, and I felt, I actually felt my mother, because I hadn't seen her for 6 months. She'd come to India tour, and then she'd gone back to Australia, I'd gone to London, and I hadn't seen her for 6 months. And she'd come to visit me in her spirit form, and she sat on my left side, and my whole left side went paralyzed, and she had a stroke, so her left side was paralyzed. And then I could feel that overlay on my own body. I could feel that, in fact, my left side became numb, and Shri Mataji was staying in this flat in Hampstead. So I rang her up, and I said, Shri Mataji, my mother's passed. She's gone. She said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry she's gone. but she's come to see you now. I can feel her. She's sitting on your left side. And I said, yes, Shri Mataji. And she said, just tell her that you're all right, that she should go to the light and that she can have a rebirth soon. So tell her everything is fine. Tell her that you're perfectly okay. She's just worried about you. You know, she's just worried about you, concerned about you. And so I said to, thank you, Shri Mataji. And then I said to my mother, she told me to speak out aloud to her, just tell her that you're okay, that there's no need to worry, and that she can take a rebirth. And after I said this a few times, I said, please don't worry, I'm okay. You can take a rebirth. You can go towards the light, take a rebirth. So I gave her the instructions that Shri Mataji gave me. And then after probably about an hour or so, she left. I could feel that she actually moved away. She crossed over. And I felt this incredible sense of peace, this profound sense of peace, and the fact that my mother was going to be okay, and that her spirit had moved on to a better place, and that she'd left her physical body behind, but she'd moved on to a higher place, and mother had her attention on her. So it gave me a lot of comfort to know that mother had put her divine attention on my mother's spirit and soul, and then she was going to be fine.
अंकल बता रहे हैं कि जिस समय वो लंदन में थे और श्री माताजी हैम्पस्टेड में रहती थी और वो श्री माताजी के पुराने घर में रहते थे, उस समय अंकल को उनके पिताजी से फ़ोन आया कि अंकल की माँ जो थी उनको ब्रेन हैमरेज हो गया था, पैरालिसिस हो गया था लेफ्ट साइड का, और उन्होंने श्री माताजी को फ़ोन किया। तो अंकल श्री माताजी ने कहा कि मैंने बंधन दिया, मतलब श्री माताजी ने बंधन दिया और श्री माताजी ने कहा कि सब ठीक हो जाएगा। तो अगले दिन पर अंकल को एक खबर आई कि उनकी माँ चल बसी हैं और वो इस दुनिया में नहीं। तो अंकल को काफ़ी दुख हुआ क्योंकि वो 6 महीने से मिले नहीं थे अपनी माँ से, और वो यहीं पे थे और लास्ट टाइम शायद सिर्फ पूजा में मिले थे। तो उन्होंने तब उन्हें ऐसा कुछ उस दिन महसूस हुआ कि उनकी माँ की जो आत्मा थी वो उनके बाएं भाग में, शरीर के बाएं भाग में आके बैठ गई है, और उनके बाएं साइड पैरालिसिस था, तो उनको भी वैसा कुछ महसूस होने लग गया। तो उन्होंने श्री माताजी को फ़ोन किया और पूछा कि श्री माताजी, बताया कि श्री माताजी मेरी माताजी अब नहीं रही हैं। श्री माताजी ने बोला मुझे बहुत दुख हुआ है जान के, पर अब वो तुम्हारे पास आ गई हैं। तो उन्होंने बोला हाँ माँ, मुझे फील हो रहा है कि वो यहीं है। तो श्री माताजी ने बोला मुझसे यही प्रार्थना करो कि माँ आप मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ, आप मेरी चिंता मत कीजिए और आप दूसरा जन्म लीजिए, एंड आप मेरी बिल्कुल चिंता मत कीजिए। तो ऐसे कई बार श्री माताजी ने उनसे फ़ोन पे बुलवाया कि ज़ोर से बोलो। बहुत देर तक अंकल ने प्रार्थना करी। फिर 1 घंटे के बाद करीब उन्हें ऐसा महसूस हुआ कि उनकी माँ की जो आत्मा थी वो अब निकल गई हैं, और उन्हें जान के बहुत खुशी हुई कि वो अब वो जो जहाँ भी हैं वो अब सुरक्षित हैं और वो अब अगला अपना जन्म लेंगे। और इस तरह से ये एक एक्सपीरियंस उनका रहा श्री माताजी के साथ।
So in the evening, the same evening of the day that I found out my mother had gone and this experience happened, in the evening, Shri Mataji was attending a concert with at the ashram in Chelsham Road with the famous sitarist Debu Chaudhry, who was visiting London for a recital, and he'd come to give Shri Mataji a personal recital, and I was at the ashram there. And then, normally you think of your mother, dying, and then the grief that I would have normally expected to feel was just taken away. Mother had lifted me up out of that feeling or the sense of grief or loss, and and she just said to me during this situation, she said to me that you have to understand that the body is like, it's like when if your body departs, when you let go of your body, it's the earthly part, it just stays, but the spirit goes on. But she said it's just like when your clothes are worn out and you need to get new clothes, you just go and buy new clothes and you put new clothes on. she said it's the same with the body. She said the body, your spirit goes on with your soul, and then you come back again. You're born again. She said you're in a new body with more potential, and she said your mother will be fine. She'll be born again in a new body without all the physical problems that she had in this life. She'll be born with more potential and to do divine work. And then Mother just described it so simply and beautifully like that. It's like changing clothes, you know. She said, don't worry. She said, it's just we get attached to this physical body, you know, we get attached to this physical idea. But she said the spirit's eternal, you know, it continues on. And when she said that to me, all the grief that I felt, she just took out of my heart. She filled it through love, the love that she was there. And I said to Shri Mataji, she said, you know, you've lost your mother. And I said, yes, Shri Mataji, but I've found you, and you're the mother of all mothers. And you fill my heart with so much joy that I'll never feel sad, you know, because you're here and I'm with you. And she said to me, then there's no need to go back. She said, there's no need to go back for the funeral because it's just the body's left there. She's already gone, you know, there's no need. It's just a formality. And when she said that, I was kind of, you know, I just felt I was relieved because I wanted to stay with Shri Mataji. I really didn't want to go back to the funeral because it's you know, I felt the duty, of course, to go back as the son. But then my father rang up the next day and he said to me, there's no need for you to come back because you're with Shri Mataji. He said, I don't want you to come all the way back here just for the funeral. He said, your mother's gone. It's almost like he was saying what Mother was saying to me the day before. And then when he said that, I just realized, you know, Mother just said the same thing. And I felt relieved that I could still stay with Shri Mataji because she just completely lifted me out of that feeling of grief, you know.
तो अंकल बता रहे हैं कि जिस दिन ये खबर आई थी उन्हें और वो ठीक भी हो गए थे, उसी शाम को एक सितार वादन का प्रोग्राम था और वहाँ श्री माता जी से मिले। श्री माता जी ने उन्हें समझाया कि जैसे आत्मा शाश्वत है, परंतु ये जो शरीर है ये हम बदलते रहते हैं। जैसे कि हमारे अगर कपड़े खराब हो जाते तो हम जाके नए ले लेते हैं। इसी तरह आपकी माँ को जो भी शारीरिक तकलीफें थी इस जन्म में, वो अब नहीं रहेंगी, वो नया जन्म लेंगे और वो अब ज़्यादा अच्छी परिस्थिति में रहेंगे। और ऐसी बातें करके, ऐसे शांत स्वभाव, ऐसी शांत बातें करके माँ ने सरल तरीके से समझा के अंकल को उनका दुख दूर किया उस समय का, और अंकल को समझाया कि उन्हें अब वापस जाने की भी ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि जो फ्यूनरल होगा, जो क्रियाकर्म होगा, वो सिर्फ एक फॉर्मेलिटी है। और अंकल भी जाना नहीं चाहते थे इस चीज़ के लिए। और अंकल ने श्री माता जी से कहा कि मेरी माँ चली गई हैं, पर मेरे पास आप हैं, जो आप सभी माताओं की माता हैं, और मैं आपके साथ ही रहना चाहता हूँ। अगले दिन उनके पिताजी का भी फ़ोन आया, उन्होंने भी यही समझाया कि यहाँ तक वापस आने की ज़रूरत नहीं है और तुम माँ के साथ वहाँ पे ही रहो और उनकी मदद करो।
So I remember at this recital, I just went into Mother took me up again to some other dimension, and I was just so blissful, and all the grief had gone, and I just felt so overjoyed to be sitting at Mother's lotus feet, and I felt my mother is in a better place, that everything will be fine, and I just felt this tremendous joy that every life is just like a cycle. I mean, there's birth, there's the life, and then there's death. Death is just part of that cycle of life, and that the spirit is eternal. There's no loss, really. I mean, we just change state. We just go from a physical, material being to an ethereal and spiritual being, and we just change the matter. The physical, heavy matter stays on the earth, and the spiritual energy goes to the heaven. So it's just really a change of state. And then that realization at that moment made me feel that, you know, life is just a play. It's a journey that we all take, and it's what we become in that time is the most important, you know, how we manifest, how we develop and how we grow.
अंकल बता रहे कि उस शाम उस सितार वादन का प्रोग्राम था, उसमें उन्हें फिर बहुत अच्छी अनुभूति रही ध्यान की स्थिति की, और उन्हें समझ में आया ये जो जीवन चक्र है ये कैसे चलता है, और मृत्यु उसका एक पार्ट ही है, उसका एक अंग ही है, तो उससे हमें कोई चिंता का कोई विषय नहीं है। इस तरह के उनका अनुभव उस दिन रहे।
One of the other miracles that I like to share is a personal thing, because I was born with a hole in the heart. It's called an atrial septal defect, which is a hole between the upper part of the heart, the left and the right ventricle. And that basically was discovered when I was about 7. And my mother took me to the hospitals, and the doctors had said, oh yeah, we have to operate. And in those days, there was a 50-50 chance of survival of that operation. And my mother said, no, it's not good enough. I don't want to risk his life. And the doctors said, oh, he'll only live till 14, you know. And my mother said, well, I'll give him 14 years of life and take it away now. And so I'd still had the problem of the hole in the heart. And then Shri Mataji had found out, and she said, let me help you, let me fix the problem. And then she put her foot on my chest, and I could feel this incredible vibrational force going into my heart. I felt my heart sort of palpitating and moving, and things working out, you know, and I could feel this force of Mother's feet. And then she said, turn around, and she put it on the back of my back. And then after this, I could feel incredible sort of movement of the heart and things working out. And then after some time, I just felt this incredible cool. And Mother had her foot there for maybe an hour. And then afterwards, she told me that she had to go back into my past life to solve a problem that happened in the past life. Where I was stabbed in the heart, and that had carried over to the next life. So she said that sometimes these things, traumas and problems that happen in one life get carried over to the next life. She said in this case it's happened with what happened in the previous lives, that you had this, this horrible stabbing or whatever it was. And so then after that, I felt a little physically different. And when I went back to Australia, eventually went back, I had it checked out by the doctors. And they said to me that actually they'd measured it before, and there was quite a large hole. And they when they looked at it again, they said it's actually healing up. It hadn't quite finished. And then I spoke to Mother, and she said to me, oh, you can just get them to finish it off. I didn't have time to finish everything. So the hole had gone from a big hole like that, and then it had sort of shrunken down to a small hole, you know, not even, you know, a slit, you know, and then they were able just to sew it up. Otherwise they would need to put a Teflon patch there, and then I'd have to be on drugs all my life, you know, blood thinners to stop it from clotting. But because Mother had healed it to a point where they could just do a simple operation, and it was repaired. So it was really a miracle, you know, that Mother had helped to heal it. And I was so blessed to be able to have Mother's feet literally on my heart.
बहुत ही सुंदर। तो अंकल लाइक एक पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस बता रहे हैं, जब उनको बचपन से ही ऐसी बीमारी थी जहाँ पे इनके हृदय में छेद था। 7 साल की उम्र में ये छेद पता चल गया था, और उस समय जो तकनीक थी उससे डॉक्टर्स ने बताया था कि 50-50 चांस है कि अंकल जीवित रह सकते हैं या शायद मर भी सकते हैं। तो उनकी माता जी ने कहा नहीं, ये तो ठीक नहीं है। तो जब सहज में आए तब तक भी उनको वो हार्ट में छेद था, और श्री माता जी को जब ये पता चला तो श्री माता जी ने उनसे कहा कि मैं ये ठीक करूँगी, और श्री माता जी ने अंकल के छाती पे ही अपने चरण रखे, और बहुत देर तक उन पे काम किया। अंकल को महसूस हो रहा था कि जैसे उनका हृदय कुछ हिल रहा है, वहाँ पे कुछ चल रहा है। और फिर श्री माता जी ने अंकल की पीठ पे भी पाँव रखा बहुत देर तक, लगभग 1 घंटे तक ऐसे रखा श्री माता जी ने। और श्री माता जी ने बताया कि ये पिछले जन्मों से आई कोई परेशानी है, और आपके पिछले जन्मों में कुछ ऐसा आपके साथ हुआ था जिसके कारण आपके ये अभी तक चल रहा है ऐसी ऐसी परेशानी। और फिर जब अंकल वापस ऑस्ट्रेलिया गए, उन्होंने चेकअप कराया, तो पता चला कि एक बहुत बड़ा होल जो पहले था, जो डॉक्टर्स मेजर कर रहे थे, वो बिल्कुल अब छोटी सी जैसे कि एक पतली सी दरार जैसा रह गया है। और अंकल ने श्री माता जी से बात करी तो उन्होंने बोला, अरे मेरे पास उस समय इतना समय नहीं था, आप डॉक्टर्स को बोलो वो ठीक कर देंगे थोड़ा सा। तो डॉक्टर्स ने छोटा सा कुछ ऑपरेशन शायद हुआ और उसको ठीक कर दिया। और वरना अंकल को अगर ये ऑपरेशन होता भी तो टेफ्लॉन पैच लगता, उनको जीवन भर दवाइयाँ खानी पड़ती, पर ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं हुआ और अंकल पूरी तरह स्वस्थ हो गए।
So this was like a daily experiences that we had. Mother would be helping people. People would come and see Shri Mataji, and what amazed me was just the concern and the love that Mother had for each and every one that was coming to see her. She really had this endless love and compassion and patience of a mother. You know, people would come and they'd be caught up, and they, you know, you could feel. I was, like she said to me, I'm like a barometer. I can feel, she said, I just look at you, and if I feel a catch, I know somebody's come. So one day this lady came in, and I felt this pain in the head. And she said to me, go and find out who's come. Someone's catching on Agya. I can feel it from you. It's like registering. So I was very sensitive because I was so clean living with Shri Mataji. She cleared all the catches out, and I was just like a you know, I just feel whatever happens. So I'd be up on the second or third floor, and someone would walk in the basement, and I'd feel their catches. So I became super sensitive to the catches of other people. And Mother would laugh sometimes. She said, so and so has come because I can feel the agya. She said, go and tell her to look through the candle and clear her agya, you know. So a lot of people would come, and I'd feel their catches immediately. And I could feel sometimes, you know, the people were quite caught up. But Mother Shri Mataji would get a little bit, sometimes a little bit annoyed with some people because they were constantly coming with Swadhisthana catch and this catch. And then she said, look, don't come anymore. Take a matka and come and see me once you've done this for a month, and then come back. And then they'd have to go and work on themselves for a month. And then again, they'd see Mother at some stage, and she'd say, oh, you're much better now, you know. So she would put attention on people, and she'd work on people constantly all the time.
अंकल बता रहे हैं कि श्री माता जी के लिए ऐसा रोज का ही काम था कि सबको श्री माता जी क्लियर करती रहती थी, सब पे काम करती रहती थी, जो भी आता था उनको क्लियर करती थी। और अंकल को श्री माता जी ने इतना क्लियर किया था, इतने उनके चक्रों पे काम किया था कि अंकल बहुत सेंसिटिव हो गए थे। और जो भी कोई आता था, उनके चक्र पहले अंकल को फील होने लग जाते थे। मतलब कोई सेकंड फ्लोर पे भी हैं और बेसमेंट में भी कोई घुसता था तो अंकल को फील होने लग जाते थे कैचेस। तो अंकल को श्री माता जी कहती थी, तुम बैरोमीटर हो, हर किसी के चक्र नाप लेते हो खटाक से। तो ऐसे ही एक दिन कोई लेडी आई जिनका कि आगे शायद पकड़ा हो, तो अंकल को फील होने लग गया। तो श्री माता जी ने बोला कि उनको जाके बोलो कि पहले कैंडलिंग करें, आज्ञा पे कैंडल रख के बैठें, फिर आके मिले। ऐसे कई लोग होते थे जो बार बार कैचेस लेके आते थे। तो उन्हें श्री माता जी फिर कहने लगी, उनसे काफ़ी परेशान हो जाते थे। तो श्री माता जी कहती थी कि 1 महीने तक ये ट्रीटमेंट करो, आप फिर आओ मेरे पास। फिर उसके बाद वो काफ़ी ठीक हो जाते थे। तो श्री माता जी फिर उनसे कहती थी कि हाँ अब ठीक है, अब बढ़िया है। तो ऐसे कई लोगों पे हमेशा ही श्री माता जी काम करती रहती थी।
The power of vibrations was the other thing that she kept asking me, what do you feel? What do you feel? And I kept sort of, you have to just put a full attention on vibrations. And it was like you know, every day it was just constantly checking the vibrations, looking at what you're feeling, working with the vibrations. And it was like a training a really intensive training that she's giving me as a guru to try to really master the vibrations so that you understand what's happening on a subtle level, and then you can work on those vibrations. And the sensitivity comes, and you'll feel once you're clear, you'll feel the vibrations working, and you're able to master the vibrations. And that's what I felt I was in that situation with Shri Mataji, was to really, she was giving me this intensive training to master the vibrations. At that time, I didn't know what I was meant to do, but later on, it became obvious to me when she asked me to go to start Sahaja Yoga in Hong Kong and later on in China. So she prepares you. She gives you that experience. She gives you that grounding, so that you're an instrument, so that you're a solid instrument that you can go out into the world and do Sahaja Yoga work. And it's preparation that she's giving me in this time. It's like a training. And I could see that all of these lessons that I was learning was preparing me for working, doing Sahaja Yoga work and starting Sahaja Yoga in Hong Kong and China.
अंकल बता रहे हैं कि श्री माता जी के साथ जो रहे, श्री माता जी ने बहुत उनको वाइब्रेशंस पे काम करना सिखाया, बहुत क्लियरिंग और चक्रों पे काम करना वगैरह, तो उससे बहुत सेंसिटिविटी आ गई अंकल को, और एकदम एक मास्टरी जिसे कहते हैं वाइब्रेशंस पे आ गई, वाइब्रेशंस को कैसे यूज़ करें आदि चीज़ों पे। तो उन्हें समझ में आया कि श्री माता जी असल में उन्हें तैयार करी थी इस सब के बीच, क्योंकि उन्हें जो काम कराना था श्री माता जी को उनसे, वो आगे उन्हें जाके पता चला जब श्री माता जी ने उन्हें हांगकांग और चाइना में सहयोग स्थापित करने के लिए भेजा। तो श्री माता जी हमें ऐसा तैयार करती हैं, हमें उस लायक बनाती हैं, हमको वो तैयार करती हैं, वैसे ट्रेनिंग करती हैं और फिर हमें उस काम के लिए वो भेजती हैं, ऐसा हमको बता रहे हैं।
One other miracle that showed me the power of vibrations, there was a staircase, and at the end of the banister there was a sculpture of a dolok player, and the dolok player it was made out of wood, and it was the spine had sort of distinct sort of it wasn't correct. I mean, it seemed to me like a very anatomically not very accurate. And Shri Mataji looked at it one day and she said, no, the spine is not correct. And so she started giving it vibrations, giving it vibrations around the shoulder blades. And it was like she's carving the wood. And I could see that the wood's becoming like plastic. It's moving like she's molding it with her hands, giving it vibrations. And I couldn't believe, I was sort of watching this and I could see the shadows getting distinct. There was a change in the form of this sculpture that was actually before my eyes. And I sort of blinked and I looked again and that was changing. And then she looked at me and smiled and she said, vibrations can change anything. She said, they penetrate every molecule. They can change the molecule down to that level. So that's why it's like you see I'm carving, but actually I'm just using the vibrations because they act on matter. And she's explaining this on a molecular level, it acts on the matter. The vibrations can penetrate into that level. That's why I can change it. So I'm sitting there, I'm just watching this, in amazement. And Shri Mataji is just doing it like a matter of fact, like it's just, normal for her. Miracles are normal for Shri Mataji. And she said that, for you it's miraculous, but for me it's just normal. She said that to me.
अंकल एक चमत्कार याद कर रहे हैं जहाँ पे कि एक मूर्ति थी जो कि लकड़ी की बनी हुई थी और उसका ढांचा कुछ गलत था, मतलब उसकी जो रीढ़ की हड्डी थी वहाँ कुछ गड़बड़ था, शोल्डर में कुछ गड़बड़ था, ऐसा अंकल को देख के लग रहा था। श्री माता जी ने भी आके देखा और कहा कि हाँ ये तो कुछ गड़बड़ है, ये ठीक नहीं है। तो श्री माता जी ने वहीं उस मूर्ति को वाइब्रेशन देना चालू कर दिया और उसके शोल्डर्स पे हाथ रख के और वाइब्रेशन देना चालू कर दिया और अंकल को ऐसा लगा कि जैसे सब बदलते जा रहा है मूर्ति का, और सच में उनकी आंखों के सामने जैसे कि अब प्लास्टिक को आप हिलाते हैं वैसे वो लकड़ी की मूर्ति पूरी बदलती गई और पूरी ठीक हो गई। और वाइब्रेशन से ये इस तरह का चमत्कार देखो। श्री माता जी ने समझाया कि वाइब्रेशंस अणु रेणु तक काम करते हैं, हर स्तर पे काम करते हैं, इसलिए मैं ये वाइब्रेशंस के थ्रू ये भी कर सकती हूँ। तुम्हारे लिए चमत्कार होगा पर मेरे लिए बहुत ही आम बात है।
We had a puja and there was an amazing sort of collection of flowers, and we brought all the flowers back. There was a lot of roses, these fragrant roses, all these beautiful colors, different colors of roses. and there were a bathtub full of roses. After the puja, we took all the flowers back to the house, and Shri Mataji, some of the roses, the heads had sort of drooped down. Okay, they're obviously, you know, finished. And then she came in and saw them, and she said we can bring life back to these roses. And so she took one of the roses, put it onto a stem onto her hand, and then she said, now just put it there for a minute, and then afterwards put that in a vase. So I got a vase and I put the roses, and she said, you can do it too. So she showed me, put the stem on your hand, give it vibrations, and then they'll come back to life. Anyway, I did this for all the roses, put them into big vases and put them around. And the next day, all of the roses had stood up and they'd opened up, and they lasted for another week and a half. The roses were there and they were fragrant. And Shri Mataji walked past and she said, look, see the vibrations, they've given these roses more life. They brought the life back into the roses. That's why they're blooming now. They're happy because they're giving the blooms to me. She said they're responding to my love. These roses were showing their appreciation of being in the presence of divinity. She said they were made for me, and now they're showing their appreciation.
अंकल सुना रहे हैं कि एक पूजा के बाद बहुत सारे गुलाब के फूल इकट्ठे हो गए थे और वो भर के एक टब भर के जितने घर वापस ले आए थे, पर काफ़ी सारे उनमें से मुरझा चुके थे, पूरी तरह से ही ख़त्म हो गए थे। तो श्री माता जी आई, उन्होंने देखा उनको और उन्होंने कहा कि ये जो फूल हैं इनको हम वापस जीवन प्रदान कर सकते हैं। तो उन्होंने बोला अपने हाथ पे उन फूलों को ऐसे रखो और उन्हें वाइब्रेशंस दो और फिर वापस उन्हें वास में सजा सकोगे। तो ऐसा ही अंकल ने किया और कई सारे फूलों को ऐसा किया और उन्हें वास में सजाए और फिर वो फूल अगले हफ्ते 10 दिन तक चलते रहे और बहुत ही सुंदर हो गए और बहुत उनसे खुशबू आने लगी। तो श्री माता जी ने समझा है कि ये फूल जानते हैं कि ये मेरे लिए, मेरा प्यार पाके ये मेरे लिए वापस सज्जित हो रहे हैं और इसीलिए ये इतने सुगंधदायी हो रहे हैं।
And then afterwards, we took all those rose stems and we put them into pots when they'd finished, and all the roses sprouted from those, you know, putting in the pots. But then they grew into rose bushes. So we had this rose garden on the terrace above Shri Mataji's bedroom, and all these roses all had flowers the next time as well. So she created more roses and kept them from the puja. So these puja roses were in pots, and then they were flowering again after some time.
उसके बाद वो इतने सारे गुलाब हो गए, उन्हें सब ले जाके एक श्री माता जी के बेडरूम के ऊपर वहाँ पे एक रोज गार्डन जैसा बना दिया और उसमें से और गुलाब आते गए और इस तरह से उन पूजा के गुलाबों को एकदम एक गार्डन जैसा तैयार कर दिया।
So I think you know, I've got many more stories to tell, but I'm just mindful that it's already quite late for everybody, and we've been on here for more than 2 hours. So I can save some stories for next time. But there's so many wonderful experiences that I have with Shri Mataji, so I'm very happy to share.
We can go on listening, Uncle. maybe we can again take a small meditation session.
Okay. Let's finish with a nice meditation then. Yeah. And so I want you to imagine that you're in Mother's house, that you're transported to this beautiful house full of paintings, full of beautiful art. You're sitting on a carpet in front of Shri Mataji, and Shri Mataji's sitting there smiling at you, and you're just in a blissful state in front of your mother. So let's all take ourselves to that point. Put your hands out and say, Shri Mataji, thank you for letting me be in your house. Thank you for letting me be in the kingdom of God. Thank you for giving me my self-realization. Thank you for giving me these wonderful experiences. Shri Mataji, please make me a pure instrument for your work on this earth, so that I can bring fragrance, joy and love as you have given to me, so I can give to others. Come into my heart. Shri Mataji, let me worship your lotus feet in my heart. Take me away from all illusions. Keep me in reality. Take away the sheen of superficiality. Let me worship your lotus feet in my heart. Let us slowly raise our Kundalini and put ourselves into bandha. Shri Mataji.
Shri Mataji. Mummy, if you would like to give a thank you note to Uncle.
जय श्री माता जी। इंग्लिश में तो पापा बोलेंगे, मैं हिंदी में बोल देती हूँ पहले। इतना सुंदर प्रोग्राम था कि उसका तो शब्दों में वर्णन ही नहीं कर सकते। बहुत ही अच्छे एक्सपीरियंस रहे। ऐसा लगा कि हम भी उसी आनंद में डूब गए हैं। ये कुछ लॉकडाउन में श्री माता जी के विशेष आशीर्वाद हमको मिल रहे हैं कि इतने अच्छे अच्छे लोगों से श्री माता जी मुलाकात करा रही है, उनको सुनने का अवसर प्राप्त हो रहा है। कभी ऐसी कल्पना भी नहीं करी थी कि कहाँ मिस्टर एलेक्स और कहाँ हम इंदौर में बैठे हैं और उनके इतने सुंदर अनुभव सुनने को मिलेंगे। ऐसा लग रहा था कि ये बातें चलती चली जाए और बस हम सुनते रहें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्री माता जी को और उनको भी जो उन्होंने अपना कीमती वक्त हमें दिया और श्री माता जी के इतने सुंदर संस्मरण हमें सुनाए। ये जो झूम ऐप और सहयोग ऑनलाइन मेडिटेशन का हमारा जो YouTube का चैनल है, इसमें हम रोज ही 4:15 बजे और 4:45 बजे रियलाइजेशन का प्रोग्राम करते हैं और 5:30 बजे फिर इन्हीं लोगों को गहन ध्यान में उतरने का, चक्रों और नाड़ी को क्लियर करने का तरीका सिखाते हैं। श्री माता जी ने इसी कड़ी में यह कार्य करवाती जा रही हैं कि नए लोग और पुराने साधक भी इतनी सुंदर बातें सुनकर आनंद में आ रहे हैं। ये श्री माता जी की ही कृपा है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद माँ को भी और मिस्टर एलेक्स को भी। जय श्री माता जी। दुष्यंत, आप बात करो।
Jai Shri Mataji. Thank you so much to Mother for this wonderful and enlightening session. The vibratory flow was simply tremendous. Thank you so much, Alex Uncle, for joining us. When I spoke to you, I never realized. When I spoke to you, I never realized that your experiences with Mother would be so vivid. I never thought that you actually stayed with her for such a long period of time. And had such vivid experiences and experiencing vibration and seeing Mother spread her love firsthand. The wonderful session, Uncle. Thank you so much. I had drafted around 8 to 10 questions, but as Mother says that Sahaja Yoga works spontaneously and time is kind of an illusion, as you mentioned. So I think we would need at least 4 to 5 sessions to complete all the experiences that you have, Uncle. Thank you so much for your time today.
Pleasure.
I'll coordinate with you. हाँ जी,
मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है, फोटो तो दिखा दो।
Yes, Shri Mataji, Mama. Uncle, Mama is requesting that we show some of the photos that you had sent across to us.
Yeah, please.
So I'll try and share that. Lux or Mayank, if anyone can share some photos. Uncle, if you can please explain the photos to the people who are listening.
So this is a photo of Shri Mataji in Hong Kong. So this is after I moved to Hong Kong with my family. And that little girl with the doll in the front is my daughter. She's my eldest daughter. Rosie Henshaw. She's now actually living in Amsterdam, and she's giving she's a musician, and she's giving conference and realization sessions in Amsterdam. And we went shopping in one of the markets in Hong Kong, and Shri Mataji was buying things for gifts and presents for people in different countries, and also gifts for the family. So she bought this doll. My daughter's showing this doll, this little doll that Shri Mataji had bought her. So she was so happy. And the gentleman on the left is a yogi. He's no longer with us. He passed some years back, but he was also helpful. John, his name John Kula. He was helpful to help us start Sahaja Yoga. He volunteered his house or his flat for the first ashram. So he's created a collective house because of his flat and generosity that we were able to start Sahaja Yoga there. And that's me there when I was much younger, of course. This is about 1991 or 92. I think it's 92, actually, 1992. Okay, this is on a India tour, and it's actually all the yogis at the Ganga, and we went there to visit Hardwara and Rishikesh, and we took the boats out on the Ganga, and it's where the Yamuna meets the Ganga, so it's the confluence of the two rivers. So we went there by boat to see this. So it was an India tour, I think in 1995. I think that was 95, 96 tour. Okay, this is going back to 1984. This was actually in Switzerland, and it was at the time I was staying in Shri Mataji's house. I went on a number of tours with her, and this is basically in the ashram in Switzerland. And Shri Mataji was talking to some of the yogis there, and one of the yoginis had presented a card which was drawn by the children. The lady in front of her, I think, is Mary Martin. And the gentleman on the right side is Dr. Mathur. He was a yogi, old yogi from Delhi. He's no longer with us. He's passed already. His family were married to yogis in Australia. So he eventually moved to Australia. His wife passed away, and he moved to Australia. But he passed a few years ago. And this is on India tour. I think back in the 90s, I think it's 95. And there was, Shri Mataji had just arrived, and all the yogis had gathered to welcome her when she came to the program. Okay, we're jumping around back to Hong Kong. This is a visit Mother had in 96. And we'd taken Shri Mataji out to a Chinese restaurant, and we had Chinese food. And Shri Mataji enjoyed Chinese food. She said that she really loved to eat Chinese food. And we had Chinese tea, and she really enjoyed it. And there's some yogis around, Chinese yogis that were very early yogis in Hong Kong. And this is at the public program that we had in Hong Kong. And this Mother's working on some of the seekers which were coming, that had come for the program. And this one is at the United Nations Conference for Women, and this is where Shri Mataji addressed the Women's Conference in 1995 in Beijing. So this was quite a significant address to the Women's Conference that Shri Mataji gave a speech for. Okay, so this is back to Switzerland, and this is a dance recital that Priya and Patak Pawa, they were Kathak dancers based out of London, and they performed for Shri Mataji, and Shri Mataji was just talking about the culture of India and the dance traditions, and she was saying how wonderful it was that and there were those three gentlemen that are standing behind Shri Mataji there, or sort of onto the side of Shri Mataji. Three of them had performed the dance. They were students of Patak and Priya Pawa, and they were learning Kathak dancing from him, and they performed for Shri Mataji at this gathering in Switzerland. And this was the first puja in China, in Beijing, in 1995 at the actual conference of women that Shri Mataji attended. We couldn't do a puja with Shri Mataji there. This is just before she arrives, but we felt that we needed to do the puja to establish the vibrations in Beijing in 1995. And this is on India tour. I think it was in probably 1996 or 97, and I'm presenting Shri Mataji with some gifts at the birthday puja.
That's it, Bhaiya.
Okay, that's great. There's some nice photos, jumping around a bit, but there are some. I've got to actually catalogue all the photos. I've got so many photos I've got to sort of sort through. So I just scanned a few, took photos with my camera, just of a few ones to give you a taste.
Let us know, Uncle, if you can help on that front. We would love to see Mother's more photographs.
Yeah. I'll share them once I'll create a Google Drive or something and put them on there for sharing.
Okay.
Great.
So
thank you so much for this.
For your time.
Thank you so much for the lovely session, Uncle.
Recollections.
We would like to have more.
Thank you so much for the lovely session, Uncle. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Bhaiya, we can hear you.
We can hear you. So I'll take your leave. Thank you so much. And let me know. I'll gladly give you another session at some stage. But encourage everybody to enjoy the meditations, and wishing you all the very best in your spiritual lives. And I'll give you some, hopefully next time I can give you some tips, because I know that a lot of you are working, and we have challenges in life with our work-life balance, and being able to manage our professional lives with our spiritual lives. So next time I'll give you some tips about my experiences over the years, what I've done. But wishing everybody all the very best. Jai Shri Mataji. Take care.
Thank you so much, Uncle. Jai Shri Mataji. We look forward to the next session.
Jai Shri Mataji, Uncle. Thank you so much. I'll call you and plan the next sessions. Jai Shri Mataji, Uncle. Thank you so much for your time. Jai Shri Mataji. Jai Shri Mataji, sabhi ko. Jai Shri Mataji, everyone. I'm ending the session now. By Mother's grace, I'm sure all of you had a wonderful time in terms of increasing your vibrations by listening to Uncle's experience. Jai Shri Mataji to everyone. Mayank, please close the session. Jai Shri Mataji, Uncle.